is closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, the first and only webcast of real action, live, unedited cash game poker. My name is Bart Hanson. I'm here with Dave Tuckman. Tonight's Monday, first day of the week. Now, normally we do Limit Hold'em on Monday nights, but because we are doing the Winning of the Green tournament, and tonight is a $500 no-limit tournament, we have a lot of no-limit action out on the floor. So we're going to bring back our 10-20 no-limit unrestricted game because people only got kind of cut out short on Friday, Dave. About an hour. We had some power outage problems in the casino, and we tried to get back on, but we were almost there. We were 1 minute from getting back on, and the power went out again, and we said, you know what?
Forget it.
That's the weekend.
Right.
So let's head to the table.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, like I always say, Friday is one of my favorite nights. I look forward to it all week long, and I kind of felt like I got ripped off on Friday.
Yeah.
And, my weekend just didn't go the same without watching Friday night's poker. So I'm kind of glad we have this lineup here tonight. In seat one, we've got Trish, a.k.a. Mike's mom.
Yeah.
And she's got about $1,500 in front of her. Seat number two, we've got Ed. That's not our familiar Ed, but he's in here for the Winning of the Green tournament. By the way, tonight's Winning of the Green was $500 no-limit hold'em tournament, so all the big-time players will be here.
Is there an echo in here?
There might be. Seat number three, we've got Doe. Can't really see Doe, but he's wearing the Yankee hat.
Yeah, that's one, going to knock 1 minus point on him already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seat number four, we got that's Alan. And Alan's probably got close to, I want to say Alan had over $2,000 playing with some $100 chips
Don't
there.
usually see Alan in seat 4. It's interesting.
Yeah. Seat number five, we've got Raheem. And Raheem's a new player to the show. And we'll get to see a little bit of him all night. Seat number six, we've got the Greek Poker God. We've got Voodoo George, looking quite scary. And we'll see how he plays tonight. Seat number seven, we've got Corporation Mike. And Mike is always action. Always welcome in one of our games. Seat number eight, we've got Mo, and I think we can call him Action Mo again.
No,
the way he's been playing the last couple months.
Yeah.
And seat number nine, we've got George Y. And we're going to call him George Y.
He's new to the show as well, Dave.
And he is obviously not there right now, but once we get him, we'll show it to him.
Well, we're going to get into the first hand here. Again, we're playing 10-20, no-limit hold'em. Brown chips are $10 chips. White chips are $100 chips. Now, George Georgian's going to bring it in for a raise here with ace-9 of hearts. Seat 3 calls with king 10, and we cannot see Alan's cards in seat 4. Well, George has got top pair here. And Alan has jack 9 of clubs, so Alan's picked up a flush draw.
Wow.
He's got a flush draw, and George is going to lead out with top pair here.
150.
He's going to bet 150, about half the size of the pot, and let's see how Alan's going to do here with his flush. And he makes the check call here, Dave, as we head to the turn. The turn's a 7 now.
Wow.
Alan's open-ended with the flush draw.
Now, if Alan were to raise here,
Yeah.
the problem is now is George is open-ended as well.
Well, George bets 400 now.
But if a 10 were to come,
Yeah.
and it's
a
10
good straight for Alan.
Exactly.
And here's the river. Oh, the river's a 7, and Alan misses. This is probably going to go check, I'd imagine.
Yep, it does.
And it's going to be about a $1,300 pot here.
Is that the most beautiful two words you ever heard? When you're betting a hand
Right.
and you don't love the river and you go, and the guy goes, I missed? You just love that.
Yeah, you got to think that if Alan put in a check raise on the turn, maybe George would have called, but if the 7 comes on the river and Alan bets again, I don't think there's any way George is going to call.
But we see it's a leak in Alan's game.
Yeah.
Alan, if he raises big, either on the flop or the turn, it's because he's already made his hand.
Yeah.
Usually with big draws, he just calls. And if he would ever raise with one of those draws, he'd probably take it down.
And again, like you said, I mean, imagine if you played it out, Dave, where it went check raise on the flop, bet the turn, George calls, and then the 10 comes on the river, and then George thinks he's good with ace-9.
Yeah. Oh.
But Alan would have had the nuts if the 10 came on the river.
Yeah, the only card that really hurts Alan on the river, I'm trying to think, would be an ace, really. Another ace.
Mo is going to make it 130 here to go. Seat 8, 8-10 of spades. Alan's going to call from the small blind with ace-jack. And Mike here, he's going to call the 130 out of position with a 3-gap suited connector here, 7-4 clubs. And here we go to the flop. Mo the pre-flop raiser, Queen 5-7. Well, Mike's got middle pair here.
Yeah, I want to say, is Mo got a... I don't think Mo has a gut shot, does he?
No,
No,
he
he doesn't. He has nothing.
He's going to bet 300 here. And is Mike really going to get involved with this here? And he does. He makes the call. And we've got about a $900 pot to the turn. Turns a 4 to third diamond. And Mike really can't beat anything now.
Well, he's got 2 pair, though.
Oh, excuse me, right. Mike 2 pairs up, and Mo bets again on the diamond. And Mike makes the check call here for $700 again.
And if the 4th diamond comes out, what's going to happen here?
It's a $2,000 pot to the river, and Mike fills up on the river.
Wow.
And Mike moves all in. He moves all in here on the river. Maybe he's thinking that Mo might have a flush. It was a $2,000 pot.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people at home are probably sitting there going, why didn't Mike check again and let it induce a bluff? You know, it's real easy, obviously, when you know what Mo has.
Right.
You know, Mike obviously is hoping that Mo's got like ace-queen with maybe the ace of diamonds, or even better, maybe he's made a flush.
Well, the other thing, too, is, you know, you might say, people might say, well, why didn't Mike play the turn a little bit more strongly? Well, you know, maybe he thought that, again, that Mo, you know, there's a possibility of the flush out there, obviously, and he didn't want to take, you know, make that a big pot there on the turn. People might say, why did Mo bet again? Well, if you put Mike on a 7, which he had, if he didn't 2-pair up, and maybe you thought that Mike put you on diamonds, so the diamonds come on the turn.
Well, I mean, Mo's got to bet that or give it up.
Right.
I mean, if he checks it at all, he's done with it. He's only got 10 high.
Mike
no
is
draw.
rattled here.
And that'll be a familiar tone all night long. Seat 7 will be straddling pretty much the whole night.
He has the option. It's like a second big blind. It's $40 to call. We got 4-way action, 4 ways. And it's a $160 pot, 8-8 deuce here.
And I think Mike has the best hand with king deuce.
Gets checked around. Turns a 10, and now Joe has king 10 here, which looks like the best hand.
I'm still reading on the 200.
But Mike is going to come out and lead here with the deuce. He's going to bet 80 here, and Joe makes the call.
I don't believe you.
And that pretty much gets your information. Now, this guy's either got a 10 or an 8.
George is out of the hand, yeah. And we're heads up here.
George is playing.
So Mike needs to hit a king here, and a king only. Actually, a deuce would do it, too. The river's a 6, because check. And look at this, Joe's going to put a little value bet. He's going to bet 300 here, Dave.
Wow.
I've never seen you play before, but I don't know if you can make a move at this point.
The river was a 6 of diamonds. And Doe figures, you know what? I think my 10 is good. I mean, who's going to check 3 8s into me? And I have a kicker that plays.
I absolutely love the bet. You know, Mike, that almost, the call, I think Mike knew he was behind. And then when the guy bet it, Mike, that actually got, wait a second, why is he betting?
Right.
Does he think he needs to bet?
Right.
Wow, real interesting there. It's always interesting. Doe is new to the game here. Most of the players in this game are not familiar with Doe's style. Obviously, we are not as well.
Right. Button moves over here to seat 5.
I do like that river
Again,
bet,
you can
though.
keep this show interactive by emailing us at live@thebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions. You can also follow a thread started on the internet. Go to 2plus2.com, spelled out. Go to forums. Go under Tournament Poker, World Poker Tour, etc. Left-hand side of your screen. Official Live the Bike thread for March 13th. Looks like this one's going to be limped around multi-way here, Dave. 6-way action. Jack 9-3, and I believe
That's a case jack, actually.
that seat number 9, we don't have it up there. He's got Jack 3.
And it's interesting because Allen's got queen jack and Doe has king jack.
And it looks like Mike actually, did Mike throw a bet out there? Mike bet, and I do not believe that seat 9 raised. He just
didn't.
called.
He
Again,
just called.
his cards
Wow.
are not up there. Jack 3 of spades.
With that board, too, I mean, we're talking jack 9-3. We're talking there are straights out there, flushes
And
out there.
Allen called as well with Queen Jack.
No, that's all right.
Oh, excuse me, Allen's going to raise 200 here. And now Mike gets out of the hand, and now George moves all in. So a bet, a call in between Allen raises, and now the caller in between moves all in. And that, you know, really shows extreme strength.
Yeah, and now Doe obviously would call the first $80 bet, folded to the re-raise, all in.
But I think it was, yeah, with the King Jack.
King
you're right.
jack, yeah. And I like the bet I really like the raise here by Allen. He got the information he wanted to get, and now fold, right?
Well, sometimes with the hand as weak as Queen Jack, sometimes we talk about this isn't limit. You don't always want to raise with top pair, but with a board like this, I mean, if you call, there's just almost nothing you want to see. I mean, a
that's
queen
what-
might not even be good, right?
Exactly. That's why I don't mind.
And Allen makes the call here for
Yeah.
$2,000. He makes
Wow.
the call with Queen Jack.
Yeah, that's just
Oh,
brutal.
this is unbelievable. Here we go to the turn. Turns a king.
He needs outs now. He needs a 10, a queen.
10, a queen, or a 9. Here we go to the river.
Or a
and
king.
the river's a king. And George gets counterfeit. And Allen looks like a genius calling you all in with Queen Jack.
Now, if you think about what both players have now, Allen, your best 5-card hand plays in Hold'em. So Allen's got kings and jacks with a queen kicker.
Unbelievable.
And George, for him, unfortunately, 3-pair don't make a difference in this game. So he's got kings and jacks with a 9 kicker.
And look at Doe over there in C3. He would have made kings full. King Jack over
Yeah.
there. Wow.
Running kings there. And obviously the king on the turn there, no matter what your card comes out on the turn, pretty much going to give a lot more outs for Allen.
Well,
Think about it.
that would have been a really interesting hand because if Allen had just called there with Queen Jack,
Yeah.
the turn comes King, and now of course you got Doe over there who's got King Jack. Maybe Jack 3 throws out a bet, but Queen 10 is obviously a possibility with 4 people in the hand.
Yeah.
So it's not even, King Jack might not even want to make that a big pot either with that
No.
board on the turn.
Definitely.
Obviously when he spikes another king on the river.
I mean, there are some times where you don't want to play a hand real strong, but I actually like the fact that Allen raised that, especially when you get a bet, a call.
You don't
another-
like the call though to the all in with the smooth call
No,
in
but
between.
you were saying
Yeah.
before with the hand as weak as Queen Jack, I might just call. Why? Just throw the damn hand away. It's worthless. Mike bets 80, seat 9 calls 80, seat 3 calls 80, and I'm just gonna call 80 with Queen Jack.
So you think it's a raise or a fold?
Yeah, definitely. There's no way I'm gonna just smooth call that. Why do I want to throw $80 away? Because what card could possibly come on the return that I like besides maybe another
I
jack?
knew it, man. I knew it.
6-way action here.
And that's not even great.
This guy, man.
Ace 4 king
No way
here.
he has that.
I mean, with that many players in the pot, I have to get a little information. I want to, kind of define where everybody's at.
Ed's going to come out and bet 70 here with King Jack, and Allen's going to make the call, and Allen's outkicked right now with King 10.
Insane, man. I tell you, absolutely insane. Alan, what do you win there? $4,000 pot? $3,000 pot?
Turns a 3, and the Jack is still playing here. Ed checks, and Allen checks right behind him. It's actually not the ace of clubs out there. The river's a deuce, and it's ace, deuce, 3, 4 without 3 clubs.
Right.
Do you have anything else besides King?
You wonder, can Ed put a little value bet in there? And I think he's going to, and I think Alan's probably going to call him.
I don't know if Ed's putting in a value bet more as maybe he's trying to get maybe Allen off of a weak ace or something. And again, he's not representing clubs because we don't have 3 clubs out there. Allen does not call. And,
Really, you think he's betting thinking he needs to get Allen off for a weak ace? I mean, he just watched Allen call all his money off with Queen Jack.
pretty suspect call.
Right, and that's what you're looking at going. I mean, if I watch a player call $2,000 with Queen Jack there, 1 pair of jacks with a Queen kicker, I'm betting the river for value. Just throwing that out.
I don't know. I mean, with King Jack, possibly. You don't think Allen might play the same way? He might check the turn with a weak ace.
But you're not going to get him off the hand, though.
Yeah. Again, though, this guy's new to the table. You don't
Right.
necessarily know that.
Right, but he just saw that play. Right. 2 seconds ago he saw that.
That's so funny.
Anyway, though, how many times have we seen that where a player, and in this case it's Allen, I love the fact that he raises it up with Queen Jack. He gets some information, and then they don't listen to the information.
Right.
It's like, why did you raise then? Why not just move all in yourself then?
Allen's going to raise it up here with pocket jacks. He makes it 110 to go out of seat 4. Seat 5 calls with a suited ace. George Georgian's in there in the cutoff with king, queen offsuit. Mike calls with 10-8 on the button. And ace, queen over here for seat 2. He makes the call.
Well, we're going to see a big pot here, huh?
And seat 3
6
is in
ways
there.
times $110. We got a $660 pot, folks.
Going 3 ways. Allen the pre-flop raiser. Here we go. Well, queen, 3-6. George actually... No, George does not have the best hand, and George is in there with that sucker hand, king, queen. Is he going to lose a lot of money?
And the interesting that the hand I like the best here is Doe's hand. Doe's got 4-5.
Yeah, he's open-ended. Allen bets 200 here. Now, I wonder what George is going to do with the king, queen, and then what is Ed going to do behind George? George is just going to call. Mike folds. And again, this might be a time with king, queen. You might actually raise it up for some information here as well. You never know.
Yeah, the only problem is if you commit more money and then if there's a player
Right.
behind you. Now, you wonder here, is Ed going to raise this up with ace-queen?
We've got the pre-flop raiser betting pretty weak. You got a call by George Georgian. And to me, when I know these players,
He's
I'm
gonna
probably
raise it
going to
up.
think that ace-queen is good here, and he's going to move all in. He's going to check raise all in
Now,
here.
normally you can't call with 4-5, but there's enough dead money in the pot. Can you call this all in, thinking nobody else is going to call? Remember, the pot is $660 free flop. Allen is bet 200.
Right,
That
George
makes it
has called.
$860. That's $1060. He's put it all in for about
900.
$1,000.
So
$900.
so it's about $1960,
More.
$900 to call.
Right.
$1960, about $900 to call there.
$1060, yeah.
Yeah, $1960, about $900 to call. Now, the issue, though, also for Doe, you got $1060 plus $900.
No, right. I'm sorry, yes.
$1960, $900 to call. And then the issue for Doe now is, though, do you have to deal with Allen or George behind you because you have more money, and so does Allen and George on the side. Now, you might think you could call here and hope that the two people fold behind you, right?
I don't care if they fold or not. As long as they just smooth call. Remember, George has just called. He didn't
Right.
raise the first time. Okay? Now, I know he could be sandbagging pair pocket sixes or pocket threes.
Wow, he's gonna re-raise. Did he make a re-raise here, or did he just made the call? He just called. Okay, well, I think that George is gonna get out of there anyways, dude.
I think so. And now you look at it and he goes, okay, well, the pot was, like you said, about $2,000, $960 to call,
Right.
right? $900 to call, right around there. It's getting a little bit more than 2-to-1 on his money. Hey, with an open-ended straight draw, why not go for it?
Well, and Allen still hasn't folded the hand with jacks.
And you're fourth
Well,
right
hey, you know what?
I mean, you've got to bet a call by George. George quickly gets away from King Queen.
fourth right now.
And this is a pure math problem, like you say.
Yeah, you need a 7 or a deuce here, or running, some sort of running cards. And here still needs a
And
7 or a
spade
deuce.
is no good because Ed has the ace of spades. Here we go to the river. The
There it
river's
is.
with 5.
Oh,
no, that's not going to do
Darn.
it.
Got excited.
Ed is going to take it down there with the ace queen.
I got excited for a second.
And Ed is going to take down almost a $3,000
Yeah.
pot right there.
I don't mind a call by Doe there at all. Some people can go, wait a second, you put $900 all in. You know, I
Well,
don't
again,
mind the play.
you know, you got to realize that we know the players. Anyone that's new to the show might say, well, what about the smooth call of George behind? I really think if George had a powerful hand with his style, like I said, I think he would raise there.
Right.
I think the call actually infers weakness from George. And if you call in between, you can almost count on the fact that just because George just called down, that he's probably going to fold behind you.
Right.
And Allen is also going to fold.
But with I mean, remember, it was a Queen 3-6 rainbow board. There was no flush possibility
Right.
there. If George has got Ace Queen, or the other guy's got a set, and he's got Ace Queen, I don't really mind if all of them call, because I still need. Basically, there's no way my hand is good right now.
Right.
I need a 7 or a deuce.
Right, but the thing that I'm saying, though, Dave, is that if George had a strong hand like a set, it opens it up to him possibly re-raising on the side, or you might only see one card on the turn.
Right. I didn't see what you're saying.
Mike is going to raise it up here to 100 with pocket 10s.
I mean, I guess it comes to the point with 4-5 there, with an open in the straight draw. Do you mind putting your money in and gambling? You're getting more than 2-to-1 on your money.
Trish makes the call, and so does Doe. Doe's in there with King Jack offsuit. Mike in there with pocket 10s. Overpair for Mike here. And Mike is going to bet about the pot. He bets 300. And I think he's going to take it down. First email of the night here comes from Brian asking a strategy question, Dave. And we're not going to necessarily read the strategy question on here tonight because we might save it for the inside straight. A little new feature that we have on Live at the Bike. I'm not sure if it's up on the website yet, but it will be coming shortly. A little poker strategy roundtable that will be on our website.
Does he do that?
Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com.
Right, basically, the question is, you have kings, a couple people call you in an ace flops. What do you do?
Right.
Kings are pretty much garbage then. I mean, more often than not, right? I mean, unless you really know the players you're playing against. You got to be very cautious with those, obviously.
One time.
That's where you make it.
You know what I mean? You raise a king and two people call you.
You have to.
And an ace flops, how do you like your kings now?
What?
I still think that more often than not, I might lead with my kings and see if I can take it down. And then once I get called, I'm done with it.
Right.
Because checking and folding is real weak if you're
Yeah.
only 2 or 3 handed.
Definitely. And if somebody knows that they can always just call you,
Right.
and have an ace flop, so you'll check and fold.
Mo's going to raise it up here. He raises to 300 more with ace queen, it looks like. A bunch of limpers in between. George is not going to call with deuces. Raheem doesn't call with a suited connector. And Mike is not going
Dad
to call.
told you guys you could swear at the house. Yeah. That was all over.
I mean, depending on the player I'm playing against, obviously, like most poker questions, the answer is usually depends. And this one is no different. You know, there's sometimes with kings, if I'm playing against the player, and you saw me play this against Avo, sometimes I'll check it,
Right.
you know, hoping that he bets, inducing a bluff. Obviously,
Again,
it puts you in a tough spot.
We are here live at the bike. We stream live cash games every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10. For some reason, some people picked up on the fact that our main screen says 7 and 9. That will be changed
Oh.
soon. I guess that thing has been up there for a while. But we've always been 3 hours or 4 hours, never 2. So it's 7 to 10.
And you see Arvin saying, how do they go from 4 hours 5 days a
Right,
week
right.
to 3 hours 5 days a week to 2 hours 5 days a week?
No, we're 3 hours 5 days a week.
Monday through Friday, 7 to 10.
Got a raise here by Mike with King Jack offsuit. Mo makes a call. It's a $60 raise with Ace 10 of hearts. And seat 9 is going to re-raise it here with Ace Queen suited. And again, we talk about...
Is he short?
Yeah, he is short because Alan made that suck out on him. Looks like 700 all in. And
Imagine he's going to take it down here,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah, Mike is not going to be in it, and neither is Mo. And again, sometimes we see these new players who often will play tournaments, are here for tournaments, but sometimes they'll make tournament moves. I'm not saying necessarily that was a bad play when you're on the short stack. He's playing a short stack, Dave. There's enough dead money in there with Ace Queen.
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
saying that sometimes
Yeah.
we will see people, we've seen it, over the last couple of weeks during Winning the Green, really, really overplaying Ace Rag and Ace King.
Yes.
A lot.
Ace Rag a lot.
Yeah.
First chip count, we've got almost $20,000 on the table.
Yeah, this is going to be our starting point, I believe.
Let's
So
go.
there we go.
Not a real big game just yet. Usually, actually, games that have Mike in it usually play more like a 20-40 game than a 10-20.
Limped around here 4 ways. Now, Mike limped in there in early position with King-Queen offsuit, did not raise. Seat 5's got Ace-10 here.
And he's got the best hand, Raheem.
He checked it, and Mike's going to bet here on the ace. He has nothing. He bets 80. And let's see how Seat 5 is going to play here with Ace-10. Looks like there's just a check call. About a $200 pot as we head to, or about a $240 pot as we head to the turn.
Don't ruin my prayer, buddy.
Turn to Jack. Well, now Mike picked up a draw. He's got a straight to the 10. And Mike's going to continue to bet here. He's going to bet 320, and Seat 5 says, you know what, I'm all in. And it doesn't look like that much more. He's got about maybe 600 here.
And now it becomes a pure math problem
so
for
let's
Mike.
say-
I got 4 outs.
Yeah, Mike has about 4 outs, and it's another $300 for Mike to call here. I think he's only getting about 4 or 5 to 1 here, Dave.
Well, he's right in his thinking that he has 4
Yeah.
outs. He actually has 3 outs because one of the 10s is in Raheem's hand.
Right. Well, it's actually, it's about 200 more.
10 to 1. I got to be getting 10 to 1 to
And look at this. And Mike is really figuring it out. He's trying to
Yeah.
figure out if he's got the odds to make the call.
$3, right?
Has to be 4,000 there. 10 to 1.
And he's not getting 10 to 1. He's only getting about 5 to 1. It's about a $1,000 pot, 200 to call. And there are no implied odds in this equation.
That's
And
a
Mike
nice
folds.
guy, I'm gonna say.
And the river would have been a king of diamonds.
That's it. 10. Take it.
I think that was actually in was that? Yeah, you're right. Dave, did you watch the first episode? Did you watch the season premiere of The Sopranos last night?
I did not.
You're not a Sopranos
I'm
watcher?
a huge Soprano
you
fan.
missed
But
it?
unfortunately, I had canceled my HBO
Oh, really?
because, as far as I'm concerned, the only thing HBO has worthwhile is Sopranos.
Yeah.
And I didn't have
Entourage.
HBO. So I've got to actually subscribe again. So I
But
can
I
watch it.
actually wanted to start this conversation. I don't know if Isaac, if you caught it too, but there's this other show that was on after The Sopranos called Big Love, and I really liked it. It's Bill Paxton as the lead character, and he is a Mormon polygamist in Utah, and he lives in 3 houses side by side by side with his 3 wives and like 8 kids.
Why would anybody want to have 3 wives? I mean, what are you kidding me? I absolutely love my wife. I adore her. She's wonderful. Okay? If you asked her if she'd want 3 husbands, she'd rather kill herself than have 3 of me. Oh my God, 3 wives?
Mike was in the straddles. Actually, Mike. I believe that Mike straddled there. Seat 5 raised up with Ace King, and he's going to take down the dead
I
Mike.
don't want that 2-3 comes in and...
It was a pretty, it looks like a
Entertaining.
promising show.
Yeah, okay.
It does. They had to go and take care of his dad over in like this kind of Mormon traditional compound. Of course, polygamy is against the law, but I guess in some very, very traditional Mormon communities, it still goes
Isn't
on.
it legal in Utah?
No.
Parts of Utah?
No, it's not. It's not. No, it's definitely not.
You got one. That's it.
King Queen suited here in seat 2. You don't believe me? You're going to look it up on the internet.
I know it's legal in parts of Utah. I know it for a fact that it's legal in parts of Utah.
And the Mormon Church actually had outlawed it about 100 years ago as well. It's actually frowned upon in the church. We get a raise here by the button.
I gotta check this out.
100 more.
It's going to make it 100 more to go with Jack 10 off suit.
2 players.
Seat 2 is going to call here King Queen, and he flops top 2 pair, and Raheem's got an open-ended straight draw. Let's see how Ed's going to play this. Ed checks. Now Raheem is probably going to continue on here with the semi-bluff. He bets 200 here. There are 2 hearts on board. Let's see what Ed's going to do. Raheem is rather short. He might just check raise all in here, Dave. Because you probably would get a call here if Raheem is short by ace-king, aces. I mean, you might, this board's pretty connected. You might check raise. He's just going to make the check call, though. Here we go to the turn. The turn is a jack, and it's a 3rd heart. What a bad card for King Queen.
Not a great card for Raheem either, obviously. 3
See if
hearts out
Raheem
there.
takes the card here.
Now, if Raheem actually pushes hard here, might be able to get Ed off the hand. Well, I don't know.
Check, and the river is an offsuit 9, and he's got the straight. I'm really surprised that Ed didn't check raise the flop there. With King
And
Queen.
he played this. And look at it. He played it about as passive as he can pay.
And he's going to pay him off.
Yeah.
Raheem bets 400 here, and Ed pays him off. Really surprising.
And he didn't even think about it. He just
Yeah.
said, okay, I'm going to pay you off. And we've seen that so many times where people, they play hands so passively, and then they still pay somebody off. I don't really understand that.
Button moves over here to seat 6.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Pocket aces here for Trish in seat 1. She just limped in here, Dave. Well, Mike is in the small blind. Maybe she's counting on a raise from her son, but I don't think she's going to get it here. Mike limps in here. 6 deuce of diamonds, and let's see how she's going to play aces in a limped pot. 5-way action to the flop. That's a bad flop for aces. Jack 10-8 in a limped pot.
Yeah, Mo was open-ended with the 9 deuce.
Trish is going to lead here.
Well, she wants to see where she's at. I mean,
She's going to bet 80.
short of Mo, nobody even has a draw.
And let's see what Mo's going to do. Mo makes the check call here.
Now, it is a one-liner, so if a
Yeah.
queen or a 7 were to come off, would Mo even get any money out
Well,
of it?
there's the queen. And Mo's got the straight. Mo checks.
But is he going to get paid at all?
Trish is going to bet again here. And Mo moves all in. Mo moves all in here. And once again, is Trish going to be able to get it? We see this so often. Trish is kind of short here. I mean, she can't beat 2 pair. She can't beat a straight. Well, she gets away from it.
Got
at
a lot
least.
of
Yeah.
respect for you.
She gets away from it.
I mean, obviously, any 9 would be a straight.
Yeah. Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions.
Now he's saying that. Last time he said he had 2 kings.
I guess someone just noticed that the opening screen says 7 to 9 Pacific time, Dave, because it's been saying that for probably the last 3 months.
Really?
Like,
Wow,
People
okay.
panicked, and they're like, it's only a 2-hour show?
Now, we're here for 3 hours,
Yeah.
folks.
Can't ask.
Guaranteed.
120.
$120 raise here by George. Mike is going to call.
George is raised with Jack 3 of spades. Now, normally you can raise in the cutoff seat because you buy yourself the button, but with Mike behind you, you got to realize that you're not going to get that.
4-way action here. George pre-flop raiser with Jack 3. Queen 10-10 here. And Ed has flopped trip 10s in seat 2. And he badly misplayed the King Queen a couple hands ago.
Yeah.
See how he plays this one.
Is he going to let somebody get there again? Probably check around, you imagine.
Oh, no, George is going to make a little continuation bet. You know, with a paired board, maybe he figures everybody missed.
Why not take a shot at it?
I can't believe Mike's going to call here. He makes this call.
Well, he
And
thinks maybe.
let's see if Ed makes the check raise now.
Chip,
That's
can
220.
I get 2,000 white?
220, sir.
Yeah.
He's just going to call.
Wow, we got a slow player at the table here, Dave.
And if the
got
lead comes off,
folks, we got a slow player here. There he is.
it's like we got a bleeder.
Yeah,
we got a bleeder.
Yep. We got a slow player at the table. He makes the check call, and obviously this is going to get checked around on the turn, I'm sure. Turns a 7, And how about a nice 8 or 9 of clubs so that Ed has absolutely no idea where he's at. Here we go to the river. The river is a king.
Well, there
Oh,
you
he
go.
fills up now. But he's not going to get paid off.
How about the case 3 on the river?
Yeah. And now he's going to come out and bet.
We see it all the time. People come on the show and they think they're being so tricky,
Right,
so
right.
clever.
Right.
I'm going to slow play this hand. Now, I don't think he gets paid no matter what he does in
Right,
bets.
right.
When he probably made about as much money as he's going to make on his hand anyway. Because if he comes out, if he check raises the flop, nobody's going to call, obviously.
Yeah.
If he comes out and bets it, nobody's going to do anything.
He wants the pot and he wants that
I
game.
know. It's pretty sweet.
So one more deuce. How about that?
Email here from Duke in Tucson, Arizona. He says, Dave, you commented during last night's show
Last Monday.
that it's basically last Monday's show that it's basically worthless to be doing commentary during the 8-16 limit game. What exactly did you mean by that?
I think I've been misquoted. I actually do. I don't remember ever saying basically worthless to be doing commentary. Actually, on last Monday's show was a 2040 limit game.
Right.
So I'm not quite sure what Duke is talking about.
The Duke.
The
Maybe
Duke in Tucson, but thank you for your email.
Yeah, maybe the Duke can clarify.
150.
I might have said Bart was worthless.
We got a raise here by seat 5 to 150. Ace Queen. Mo's going to make a mini re-raise on the button with pocket 8s. Now, a lot of times people make this mini re-raise with a big pocket pair. He's got position on Raheem. And a lot, with Ace Queen, you might not even call here. I don't want to take Ace Queen out of position against Mo, but Raheem makes the call. And we're heads up for about $600 as we go to the flop. King, deuce here.
That's not a bad flop at all from Mo. Probably going to go check, bet, fold, you'd imagine.
See how much Mo's going to bet. Mo's going to bet 200 here, Dave.
Wow, into about a, $300 pot?
$600 pot.
$600 pot. Wow, that's kind of a small bet.
Maybe he's trying to play it like I'm enticing you to make this call. I might have Ace King or something.
Yeah, but it might entice him to call, though. And if a jack or a queen or an ace come out, then what do you do? Or a diamond comes off, what do you do?
How many people
You know what I mean? I mean, Raheem's got nothing here, though.
Yeah, he's gonna throw it away. Interesting. The Duke. I was watching. Major League had been running on HBO over the weekend, and I hadn't seen that movie in a long time. The Duke was one of the relief pitcher that came in for the Yankees against the Indians. Oh, I love that movie. You like the Major League movies?
I like the first one.
Yeah.
The later ones I thought were pretty weak.
You didn't like the one with Scott Bakula in it?
Yeah, that was my classic. I mean, I love that one.
You got deuces scored?
Willie Mays Hayes, Wesley Snipes.
You got fives? Okay.
The first one was a classic. The first one's actually, I mean, it's a really, really great movie. And speaking of the Cleveland Indians, they actually might be pretty good this year.
Actually.
No, really. They're right now. Everybody's talking about them either, fighting the White Sox for the division and possibly being a wild card team.
Do not drink Joe Boone's rum.
Oh, God. What have we started? There he is. There's Joe Boom himself.
Want to raise it?
Limped around here.
Nobody's got much of anything. We got 7-way action, so it's a $140 pot.
To the flop, Ace, King, 10. Weak ace over there on the button for George Y. Ace, deuce, offsuit. Not necessarily the type of flop you're looking for. And Mike's going to come out and bet on the king.
100.
He bets 100 here.
I like the bet by Mike here. You figure if anybody had a big ace behind you, they probably would have raised it up.
Now, my question to you for George is that a raise or fold right there with such a weak hand? Now, he just made the call, and that brings seat 3 in the hand with Jack 8 of diamonds. The turn is a 10 of diamonds. Seat 3 is in there with Jack 8 of... Is it Jack 7? No, it is Jack.
Jack 8.
Jack 8 of diamonds, yeah. And it got checked around, and the river is a 7 of diamonds. Again, he's got Jack 8 of diamonds, and he made backdoor diamonds.
400.
But Mike made a higher backdoor flush. Look at that. He's got King 4 of diamonds. And I believe that Doe checked it to Mike, and you think that maybe Doe's looking for a check raise here.
Well, this is good. This could be really ugly. I mean,
The
it's the
river
jack.
is the 7 of diamonds here.
Yeah, remember, the ace is out there, folks. Yeah, and we're having problems. Just put the 8 of diamonds out
The
there.
8 of diamonds, yeah.
130 more.
There we go.
130 more.
Yep,
Time
and
for C9.
Doe raises at 130 more only, and Mike calls. I mean, Mike, in essence, has the nut flush here. He's going to take it down.
Yeah, and Joe obviously was all in there.
Right. Wow. Oh, look at that. Our card software accepts the fact that we've got a 7 of diamonds up there and a 7 on the board.
Yeah, I guess so, huh? Fighting it to get in there.
And you didn't collect on your 10, dude.
Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You're watching No Limit Hold'em. I know it's Monday night, but we're going to put Limit Hold'em on the back burner for a week or two. Because tonight we've got 10, 20 blinds, $1,000 minimum buy-in game, action-packed, and we've got a board. So a lot of people, this game will be filled up all night.
And Doe is out of there. He's gone bust.
You're out of there. So I was actually excited. You know, upstate New York, I was really excited that Albany actually beat Vermont to win the American East Championship and got into the tournament. Their first ever time to get in. They got the 16th seed against UConn.
Queen 8-5 here, limped around. Allen's got top pair. Gets checked to him, and he's going to bet. Now, Ed's got a gut shot to the 9 here from up front. And Allen is the type of player that you might actually go for one of these crazy draws with, Dave, because he probably will pay you off. The turn's at 3.
He also had backdoor hearts. I mean, not like it's really valuable, but you never know.
Allen bets again.
60.
He bets 60.
Wow, and he's going to call again.
And makes the call again. He needs a 9 here, and a 9 only. And the river's a 6, and Allen makes 2 pair. He's got queens up now.
200.
And he bets 200.
And the interesting thing is he was just calling the entire way with Jack 10 there. You wonder if he would have represented hearts, had a heart come as well. You know, maybe he was playing it, well, if I hit my 9, I'm good. If I hit hearts, maybe I can represent hearts. But against Allen, I'm not sure you want to go for that.
Yep.
Once again, we have our 16th annual Winning of the Green tournament going on right now. And tonight's tournament started at 4:15. We had over 250 entries in a $500 buy-in tournament.
No, it's over 3,000.
And those players, as they get knocked out, are feeding our no-limit cash games.
Email here from Chris C. Says, guys, regarding polygamy, it isn't legal anywhere in the U.S., but neither is internet poker. It just isn't enforced a whole lot. Well, that is kind of
wow.
tough to be enforced.
I thought that, I guess I'm obviously mistaken. I really thought that it was legal, like in a small little area in Utah.
No. 4-way action here, limped around.
See what I know.
7-7-3 with a couple hearts. Raheem is going to lead here with a nut flush draw. He bets 200.
I don't think anybody can call this, can they?
No. Well, the funny thing, the more and more I think about it, though, Dave, the more and more, if it's just a religious thing amongst the Mormons, what difference does it make if the state recognizes the marriage? I mean, a guy can religiously marry 3 wives and live in 3 houses with them on different nights. What difference does that make? Doesn't make any difference.
I guess you just wouldn't get you wouldn't get some of the tax benefits.
Or the tax penalties that some people say come along with marriage, right? But moves over here to Allen in seat 4. I mean, I think it's similar to, like, states that don't recognize homosexual marriage in terms of civil unions, right?
Yeah, I think, exactly. You're 100%. I think it's probably along the same lines. Well, either way, my question is, why would you want 3 wives? Oh, I don't understand that.
Raise it 300.
We got a $300 raise here by Mike out of the straddle spot with ace-7 offsuit. And no one's going to call here, and Mike is going to take it down. Again, a straddled pot, Dave, is going to be in the position under the gun, one off the big blind. It's a second big blind, and it's double the size of the big blind. So when Mike straddles, or when anyone straddles for that matter, it's going to be $40 to call, and he will have the option. And as many people do against Mike when he is straddling, you might limp in with a big hand, hoping or counting on the fact that he will raise out of the straddle, and you can pull the limp re-raise on him.
I mean, it's sometimes dangerous, actually, if you're playing in a hand with Mike straddling, and you have a premium holding late in position, and you raise it up. You might have to worry about one of the players that limped in early, because they might have limped in with one of those premium hands.
Right. Limped around here, 5-way action. Jack 4-6 of diamonds. Mike's got king high flush draw, and he's going to bet. He's got king deuce. He's going to bet 80. Doesn't look. Oh, Ed's got queen jack over there. Let's see how he's going to play it. He's going to call. Allen's going to overcall with middle pair. And this reminds me of a story that I'm going to get to after this hand. Here we go to the turn. Turns a 5.
200.
Mike bets 200 now.
Allen's got a gut shot now.
Yep. Ed is still have the best hand. And Mike says 2 pair, any good?
Yeah, Mike has the same gut shot as Allen has now, obviously, if a 3 were to come. Mike's hand's gotten bigger here. Obviously, any king would win it for him. Any 3 would win it for him. And any diamond would win it for him.
He's bet 200, and it's over to Ed.
And Ed has no idea where he's at.
He's going to call, and this might induce Allen to overcall, and he does. We've got over $1,000 pot, folks. Here we go to the river. The river's a 5. And Mike knows he has to bet again here.
I gotta tell you, you gotta like that bet there. You gotta like the 5-5 because you figure, okay, he bet the flop. The 5 probably didn't help him.
And Mike is going to bet again. He's going to bet, looks like 900.
I mean, the only hand you're going to specifically be worried about here, I'm going to throw 2 hands at you. If he was betting an open-ended straight draw, he was betting 5-7 or 5-3. Well, he's now back to the trip 5s.
Or could he have bet out with a bigger jack as well, or you don't think he bets the river here?
I don't think he bets the river if he has a bigger jack. Do you? I mean, if he has king jack here, ace jack, he's not betting the river.
Well, we often talk about, a lot of times people are not going to bet on the river when they don't need to unless it's a monster or a bluff.
I just don't think Mike is betting here he's betting here with a set of 4s, a set of 6s, obviously. He's not betting an ace jack.
I like the way Mike's played it. He knows he needs to bet the river, and he's put a decent-sized bet out here.
Exactly, and he's going to get called.
Yeah, he's going to call.
Wow, that's a heck of a call there by Ed. I mean, Ed can't even beat a real jack.
That brings me again to a little bit of a story. Dave, on Friday night when the power went out, they moved this 10-20 game over to another table.
Yeah.
And Allen had 6-3 suited, but this time clubs. 6-3 of clubs. And Allen backed into 2 pair on the river, Dave. Mike slammed his cards down on the table, took Allen's cards, and ripped them up. He ripped the 6-3 suited up on the table. Took the cards and ripped them up. It was hilarious.
Yeah, Mike, he gets emotional sometimes.
Right.
I would specifically, wouldn't you have been worried if you start thinking about that hand the way Mike played it? Wouldn't you have been worried about 5-7 or 5-3 there?
Look at this. Ed did not raise with queens here, and we're going to see 7-way action. Ace comes on board, and George has got ace-6, which looks to be the best hand. C5 is going to come out and bet with king-9, and George calls with ace-6.
C5, that's 200.
That's good, man.
Ed's going to get rid of this really quickly. He does.
Everybody else folds. Turns a 3. If he gets checked to George here, I wonder if he's going to check behind, try to keep this pot small with ace-6, or if he's going to bet. No, he's going to bet.
I like the bet. I mean, there's 2 spades out there, plus there's straight draws out there. I think you need to bet this.
And Raheem makes the call with king-9.
And then you get a free showdown.
River's a 7. Yeah, there it is, the free showdown. Ace-6 is good.
I think with that kind of board, ace-8-9, I don't think you can afford to give the free card.
And again, you're talking about making a bet on the turn so that you can get a free showdown the river, whereas if you check the turn, you might face a big bluff bet on the river on a missed draw, right?
And you don't even know if it is a bluff. I mean, that
Right.
7 easily could have made somebody, let's say he had 10 jack.
Right.
He makes a straight. But when you bet the turn, it kind of puts him on his back heels. And you get the free showdown you were looking for.
Okay, follow-up email here by the Duke. You were excited about the fact that it was a 20-40 game, and offhandedly commented that you guys normally have 8-16 games, which don't require as much strategy commentary. You might not have said basically worth this, but you might as well have. Also, who's better, Mike or Swamp? I think what we were talking about with the 8-16 game
Okay, now I
is
know.
we're not going to ride the players in that game like we're going to ride the players at a bigger game.
Exactly. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
There are players we know that are in the 20-40 game that are professional poker players.
Right.
Where if they make a questionable play, we feel like well within our right to kind of, like you said, ride them.
Look at this. George raised it up from the cutoff, and Mike just made a smooth call with ace-king. Flop comes jack-9-4. Well, both players have missed, but George continues to bet here. And let's see what Mike does. Mike is going to call in position a $300 bet. Wow, the turn's a king, and now both players have top pair.
Yeah.
George bets again. He bets 600, and Mike is going to make the call. And we've got...
How about a 6 on the river to kill Mike?
River's a 3. We've got about a $2,000 pot here, folks. And this one goes check, check.
Yeah. Now, on the river, I'm going to throw this at you. Why would you check the river if you're Mike?
With ace-king.
I mean, do you think George is checking aces to on the river? Maybe he is. I mean, George would.
You think a value bet might be in order there? Or?
I imagine it would be. It's one of the reasons why I kind of knew when Mike bet 900 with the busted diamond draw.
Right.
You knew he wasn't betting a jack there. Anyway, back to that, what you were saying exactly about the 2040. The 8-16 game, I like you were saying, I kind of feel like you and I can have more fun and kind of go off topic sometimes.
Right.
But I always maintain that I think any game, any poker game you're watching, whether it be a 1-2 game or a 1-200 game, has its value.
George struck me out.
150.
I didn't call you. I was calling you. How are you?
That's right.
$150 raise here by George out of seat 6. George has got 8-9 suited, and he's going to take it down.
No action on that one.
There you go. Well, we had an email here from Robin saying, what are the rest of the tournaments of the Winning of the Greek this week at the bike? Well, come on, Dave. Where's that Winning of the Green schedule? You don't have it on with you?
You know what? We have these great meetings. I'm going to bring this up next time.
We had a little pre-production meeting before the show tonight.
This is a perfect thing to talk about tomorrow, a pre-production meeting. How all our loose papers are found somewhere else.
Well, you got two people with Ace-King here. Alan's limped in with Ace-King, and seat 5 is going to raise to 150 with pocket 4s. George is going to re-raise here. So a limp by Alan with Ace-King, a raise by pocket 4s, and George re-raises. And Alan's going to call the raise and the re-raise. And for Raheem here, I don't think he's deep enough to make this call, but he does anyways. And it looks like we're going to see $400 times 3, $1,200 pot 3 ways. Here we go. George, the pre-flop re-raiser. Wow, 866. Now, is Raheem going to get involved with this?
Well, I mean, I don't think he has enough money to get away from it, does he? What is he at, $500?
Well, George is going to bet 500 here.
I mean, I think you have to call. The pot is, how much is the pot?
The pot is now $2,300.
I mean, what does Raheem have in front of him?
About 500.
How could he possibly throw it away?
Unless we don't see chips behind.
I mean, unless the flop comes out ace, king, queen, how can you possibly lay down pocket 4s here? And we see Raheem's in great shape. There's only 2 aces and 2 kings left.
And he moves all in, and I think George has to call here as well. Because, I mean, the pot now is $2,800. He might not even have enough to cover that bet. It's not even going to be any more to George. He's going to get, 2 cards here.
Yeah.
But again, as you can see, the cards, our software doesn't take it into account. Alan had ace-king, so George is in bad shape here.
Yeah, obviously, it's 62-37, but it's not even that good.
It's actually an extra $130, and George makes an easy call, getting about 20-1 on his money.
20-1?
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
even
he could probably call that.
Yeah, here we go to the turn. Turns at 10.
Needs a
George
king
needs
or an
an
ace,
ace,
yeah.
a king, or an 8, and it does not come.
Good point.
Ace, king, 8, or a
10.
10.
Right.
And it does not come. And George, can you imagine? Pocket 4s. I mean, once you rate, I mean, here's again, we had this discussion. A lot of people wrote in about it, Dave, and it was funny. It was interesting about short stack play, because Dave and I had kind of dismissed short stack play in this game. But I think it is a way to play if you want to play short stack. There's a strategy behind it. But racing with pocket 4s, I do not think runs into that strategy. If I'm going to play this game 800 deep, am I going to raise it to 150 with pocket 4s and then call a $500 re-raise with pocket 4s?
Basically, you're hoping upon hoping that both players have ace-king exactly.
Right.
Because otherwise, one of those players has got to have an overpair.
Right.
And you're in really bad shape.
Yeah.
Any one of them comes, probably a shot.
But I got to tell you, check out that show. I don't know. Are you a Bill Paxton fan? I always was.
I like Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, here. So 2006 Winning of the Green.
Yeah.
Like we said, today was no limit hold'em, $500 buy-in. Ooh, tomorrow is Hose. Hose is H-O-S-E, which is Hold'em, Omaha, 8 or better, 7-card stud, and then stud 8 or better. And that's a $500 tournament starting at 4:15 tomorrow. Wednesday's tournament is actually a $300 no limit hold'em tournament with 1 optional rebuy. And Thursday is a 7-card stud high-low $500 tournament. Then a couple of more limit hold'ems, and then obviously we finished the week with 2 no limit hold'em events.
Limped
So we're
around
excited.
here, 6-way action. So it's a $120 pot. Queen, Jack, 3 here. And Mike has Queen 8. It's the best hand over there in seat 7. And he's going to bet out.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for the comment.
I don't think anybody's going to call this, do you?
No, it doesn't. Well, George has got a gut shot to the king. But again, when you're talking about Mike betting, he could be betting a bluff. So there really aren't that many implied odds.
Now, the player in seat 3 is obviously not Doe anymore. And his name is... His name's Ramsey, actually. And Ramsey's an accomplished tournament pro. Plays a lot of tournament poker. And he is very patient, very disciplined. Quite a good player, actually. I've never seen him, obviously, on the show, so I'd be really curious to see how he plays tonight.
when I fold, I get
There he is, Ramsey.
Absolutely. Ramsey waiting to if you call. If I go all in and he's dead, you can call.
And
He's got the devil's mark on his shirt there, Dave.
you know, and he actually, and that shirt, well, we're not going to show too close here. But that shirt, he actually won that shirt at a tournament.
Oh, okay.
All those shirts you see these guys wearing, it's usually final table
Yeah.
shirts, poker, tournament ones.
Oh, you want me to fold ace king?
I mean, you could have a big A on your shirt, or you could have that insignia on your shirt.
Exactly.
Same type of thing. Linked around here. King 9-6.
Two kings out there.
King Queen over there for C2, and George has got King 10. And it gets checked around. Ed did not bet out on the button with King Queen. And now George has picked up a gut shot, turns to 7.
On the button, he didn't come out.
No. George is going to bet 120 now.
And now what does
he's
that
got the
do? Is
best
that going to
hand.
raise it, or is he just going to call?
I thought that maybe he thought he was slow playing. He just calls. And Allen calls with Jack 6. Wow. Here we go to the river. And the river's a queen. Well, now King Queen has 2 pair.
300.
George bets 300 here. And can you really be scared? I mean, could you really think that George might bet Jack 10 here? Do you think that you might raise here a little bit, Dave? You get top 2 pair. He played it so unorthodox.
I don't know if you can raise now.
He just
For
calls.
the player behind you. I mean, they might
Yeah.
have. Who knows?
Wow.
I mean, you got no information whatsoever. I mean, George could have been betting anything just to try to steal the pot. Who knows? And he just called, right?
Yeah, he did just call.
Wow. Real passive there. Real tight, likes the slow play.
Yeah. And you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm too, right?
I've seen it a couple of times.
Really?
I don't really watch that much TV. I mean, most nights.
Yeah, but all those HBO shows are just great, though.
Yeah, I'm not home. I mean, most
6
nights.
Feet Under, Entourage, The
I don't know.
Wire.
I don't know about you, but Monday through Friday, I do a show called Live at the Bike.
Yeah, but all those shows are on Sunday nights, though. Remember, it's HBO.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, a couple nights a week, I got like
Devo,
I got
Dave.
date night.
I never have a pair hold up.
You know,
5-way action here.
you just don't understand. You don't understand the plight of a married man. You have no clue.
Ace, King, 10 here. How about having 3 wives?
50.
We got a $50 bet here by the cutoff. He has Ace 4. He's got top pair.
Tebow was probably invented by somebody who had 3 wives.
Raheem is going to make the call with a gut shot to the Jack, Dave. Queen 4. And George is in there with Jack 9. Turns a 7.
Well, the Jack 9 had just picked up a double gutter now, and
Yeah.
8 for a queen. We'll give it to him.
And he's going to actually come out and bet. He bets 200. And the funny thing here for Ed, again, is like, can you really continue to get involved here with his hand? He's going to get rid of
Yeah,
it.
he gets rid of it. The interesting thing is when you're betting into Ed, you have no idea what he has here. He could have ace king for all you know.
And is Raheem going to chase one liner to a gut shot here?
He's got the best hand, queen high.
And Ed is going to take it down. Excuse me, George is going to take it
I
down.
love how players do that. Raheem showed the queen like, ooh, whoopee two. What the hell was that?
Rabicam shows a queen on the river. George would have gotten there with the straight.
I always love that when players do that, though. They show me one card, as if that card was supposed to really impress me.
Battle. I don't know his name. He's only been gone a few minutes.
So once again, live at the bike, Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific time. And if that time is not convenient for you, we do a live loop, actually, for the following, till the next day about 5 p.m. You can watch today's show. So if you live in Denmark or somewhere else, we do that for you guys.
250. Call 250.
Wow, look at this. It's a straddled pot here. And seat number 5 has decided to raise it up to $250 with pocket sevens after 5 callers.
Yep.
And George is going to call.
Well, George is seeing how this guy's played. He's going to make the call in position with King Jack.
Exactly.
And here we go. Well, not a bad flop for sevens here.
No, if you're gonna get a caller with sevens, that's not a bad flop at all.
And look at the sevens checks.
Well, you gotta be wary that maybe your opponent's got 8s or 9s or 10s.
And George checks right behind him. The turn's an ace.
Wow, and can George use that ace?
Yeah, and he's going to bet 500 here as Raheem checks a second time. He bets 500, and Raheem can only beat a bluff. I love the bet by
Yeah.
George. He's using a scare card. That's a $1,000 chip he's thrown in there, but he's announced 500. That big great chip is a $1,000 chip.
Now, the interesting about Raheem's hand here is it's kind of weird. Wait, he didn't bet that flop, and then he didn't bet when the ace came out? What the heck does this guy have?
Right.
You know, what does he have? King, queen? King, jack? He's played it really strange. Obviously, he tried to pick up the dead money. He was trying to pick up the dead money by betting 250 pre-flop, and then when he got called by a player who had position on him, he kind of just shut down. You figure to throw a little bit of money in there with that kind of flop, though.
Yeah, if he had actually come out and bet that flop, he would have taken it down.
Yeah,
George's
well,
not going to get involved with King Jack.
Right, by checking twice, he's put himself in this dilemma.
Now, you know George doesn't want to see a call, but this guy's taken so long. It's almost like, some guys actually might play ace-king in this manner. And he makes the call here with pocket sevens. That's amazing.
And George needs a king or a jack.
And the river's a 10. Is George just going to give up now? He bets 500 again.
Well, I don't know.
500 to about a $1,500. Actually, yeah, about a $1,500 pot. And George is going to go ballistic when Raheem shows him this hand.
Yeah, but I don't understand. Is that enough? I mean, now if he called 500 before,
He's trying to make it maybe look like a little value bet there.
yeah, I know what he's trying to say. What he's trying to make it look like, but is the player he's playing against aware that he's making it look like a value bet, or is he making it too cheap for Raheem to call?
You can see there Raheem looking at George. George gave him a little bit of a grin, which is sometimes a tell that someone is bluffing, though. So I think I read that, and he does make the call.
Yeah, a grin is sometimes a forced smile is a tell. I like to use that as well.
See, look at George. Oh, see, I love it. I mean, I'm not happy to see George lose, but I just kind of it's predictable that he was going to be upset.
Well, I can't believe the guy called him.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
You want to wonder if the guy was playing queens or jacks that way.
Right.
Like he slow played it, and then the ace came out and scared the hell out of him. The interesting thing is, you wonder, and I'm not sure if it would have worked anyway. It might have just cost George more money. I love the $500 bet on the turn. What if George puts 1,000 on the river? Can Raheem call?
Pocket aces here for Mike, and he's in the big blind. And this is where he really thrives with these big hands because, he could be raising with anything out of the blind. And, of course, he's going to raise with aces here. I mean, and he might get a call from his mom with ace-4. You never know. And Trish is pretty tight. Trish might be playing her son, and she might call with ace-4 here. No, she's not going to. I don't know if anyone can really call here.
No, well, once George Y threw a king-queen away, you imagine nobody else is going to
Well,
play.
C5's got 9-8 offsuit. He makes the call on the button here.
Well, that's the kind of hand you want, I guess, against aces.
Again, we talk about you never know. Mike could be raising here with ace-4. If George is tilting, he's going to make the call with 10-3 of diamonds, Dave. A lot of money is won and lost in poker through steaming. We see it all the time on this show.
I thought he was talking about ace-king.
Wow. Unbelievable here. Here we go. It's about a...
What is going on here?
George asked for time after he called. He's asked for time blind on the flop. It's about a $400 pot here. Well, he's got a piece of it.
He does.
George Y is not in the hand with king-queen.
Backdoor diamonds here, and George just looks like he's going to bet.
Yep.
160.
He's going to bet 160. Let's see how Mike plays a pretty connected board. 160 into a $400 pot. Mike raises it to 400.
And I love the raise here by Mike. That actually might get George to re-raise. I'm not sure. But you know what? If you think Mike is making a move on you, do you re-raise with 10-3 suited here? Or do you get rid of it? And I think George is going to get rid of it. A lot of players might have thought Mike was making a move there and would come over the top of him. I like the raise by Mike.
Email here from Clapman at spcglobal.net. Said, Bart, what happened? I deposited $11 at the LA poker scene so I could collect my $100 bounty for knocking your ass out. Well, again, for the second straight time, Dave, we did not have enough people that registered, and the tournament did not go on.
What the hell are you guys doing? Nobody wanted to play?
I mean,
Wait, nobody wants $300 playing
against
you?
Guess not.
Everybody scared of you?
Everybody's scared.
Scared of the Bartster, huh? Man, I tell you. I'll play you $100 for $100. I have no problem with it.
Allen's got ace-jack over there in C4. He's going to limp in.
Whatever I raise, you're going to call. I don't raise, just call. I've never been scared. I'm glad I'm
And George is buying 5,000 more, Dave. I think he wants to cover some of these guys, C2 and C5.
Well, it's a good game. I mean, it really is a good game.
Why you
5-way action limped around. Allen's got top pair. Jack, 9 deuce, couple hearts. Doesn't look like anyone has any other piece of this, really. But Mike's going to come out and bet here. Mike is bet with 6-8. And Allen's going to call. Oh, he's going to raise. Allen normally does not raise with just one pair, but he does have top pair, top kicker.
Yeah, he's been doing this lately for the last couple of months, actually.
Yeah.
Anytime he has top pair with a decent kicker, he's been raising it up.
I got an 8 high flush draw. Is that any good?
Mike, we all know you wouldn't fold that, would you?
Because we saw him earlier. He actually
Right.
raised similar flop. He raised with queen jack.
Right.
Problem is he raises and then can't get away from it anyway.
Right.
If somebody with a set of deuces were to re-raise him, he'd just go, oh, well, I'll call anyway.
Want to watch all the previous broadcasts? I mean, like, they'll play this. I want to continue to loop, but if you want to.
Man, I go back to that pocket sevens versus George's king jack hand. Played so strangely. Yeah, Hob looks a little confused by it too.
Gives you a good point.
I was gonna
I
say,
mean,
he
what can
almost-
pocket
he almost-
sevens beat
He
there?
almost could have also been playing it like ace king, but he took so long to call the turn. You might check ace king, and then even when the ace comes on the turn, you still might check to induce a bluff because you try to figure out
Right.
what George would check the flop with as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
But-
wouldn't George check an ace jack, ace queen, ace king? Maybe. Then he takes the free card and he gets the ace. I mean, I just wondered what can pocket sevens beat got in the turn, right?
Three-way action here. Mike has raised it to 80 with ace 6. George is in there with ace 7. And an ace comes on the flop.
And Mike's in kicker for so what am I talking about? Mike's got 2 pair.
Yep, 2 pair. And George came out and bet, and Mike is just going to call here.
Well, he's got position on him. He's got a button. He's gonna see if George bets again.
Oh, the turn's an ace, and now Mike fills up, and George has trips. And it goes check, check, and the river's a 3. And I think that maybe George and Mike have just agreed to check it down, Dave. Maybe they don't bet against each other anymore. That's real surprising.
What?
Never seen Mike do that before with somebody else. I mean, Mike could have really made some serious money against George. I mean, do you think that George ever would have not called there on the turn and on the river?
I don't know. I'm not sure what the heck was happening there.
Well, they play basketball. I mean, George plays basketball at Mike's house, so they might be buddy-buddy now.
But what's the point of that,
I
though?
don't know.
I was talking to Ham about this, and it was midnight, and he said, hey, I'm playing basketball. I'm buddies with a lot of these guys. I play with the same guys all the time. I'm having problems, taking the money and everything. And I go, to me, I don't see any link at all. I mean,
I know that George and Hob don't bet against each other.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. To me, I grew up playing
Yeah.
poker against my best friends. And there's nobody I'd rather beat than my best friends.
Button moves over here to C8.
And we all know it's not personal. We all know it's you play poker to win, just like you play anything. Whether you play a game of golf, whether you play basketball, whether I play hockey, no matter what you play it to win. And afterwards you take your friend out for a beer.
Well, they like to put cards on it.
I just
Yeah, so they know what
I mean I just don't I do not understand that.
George raises up here with King Queen. Mike call with Jack 10. Trish is in there with Ace Queen. 3-way action here. About a $400 pot. Well, it's missed everyone here. 5, 7, 8, couple diamonds. Checked around.
Yeah, everybody's got Broadway here. Huh?
George did not make a continuation bet. Turns to deuce. Let's see if Mike's not going to bet at it. I was wondering if Mike might bet. River's an 8, and Ace Queen for Trish is good here.
Yeah.
Let's see if Mike bets now. No. Well, it just wouldn't have made a lot of sense.
Yeah, Mike almost bet though. I don't know. I wonder if Mike didn't bet because it was mom in the pot now.
It's king, queen, ace on the flop. You full pair, 2 pairs, 4 6.
Trish is going to take it down though.
I mean, I just don't understand that.
I gotta tell you, I was in a game with George one time when I didn't say anything because it wasn't in the hand, but there's no way he's gonna pull this on me. I saw Hav bet, okay, from late position. George showed me his cards. He had a flush draw. He called, and then another guy folded, and then they ended the hand. George took his money back, and then the dealer pushed the pot to Hav. How about that? Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're
That's a
saying.
little.
Yeah, I mean they're not playing partners. I know them both.
No,
very
they're not
well.
playing. No, they're not playing partners. And I think I said, George, what are you doing? He's like, well, I would have called, but then we're not going to continue the hand on. Well, how does that make the third player in the hand feel, though? Right?
Right. It's bad for the action. It's bad for
Yeah.
the game. If you're friends with somebody, you just shouldn't let them know about it. I mean, I've seen players I mean, I'm all for, hey, if you want to protect your hand, bet the flop, bet the turn. If it's heads up with you and your best buddy and you want to play hard against them, okay, check the river.
Right.
But
I think that's what Mike and Mike and his mom actually do.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
You got to play the hand. Play poker.
George is going to move all in here with pocket eights, George Y, and seat 9 playing the short stack.
I mean, I got to tell you, I actually take it as an insult. If I was playing with somebody, I mean, I have more respect for Mo than anybody else in this casino. But I would take it as an insult if Mo started soft playing me.
Soft playing.
Try to take my money. Go ahead. Give me your best shot. Come on.
Button moves over here to seat 1, Trish.
That's a bunch of crap. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, they've got like a weekly basketball game. Him, Abo, George.
I mean, what do they not play hard in basketball against each other either? Hey, you're my buddy. I don't want to foul you. Jeez.
George's going to raise it up here. He's got king, queen suited. Makes it 150 to go here.
I don't think he's going to get any action here. Ramsey's not going to call this. No, he's not. George's going to take it down. I mean, I grew up in an era. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I grew up in an era. Does anybody remember the Sutter brothers? They were a hockey's equivalent.
My other brother Sutter, Brian Sutter, used to coach the Bruins.
Right, you got the Brian Sutter, you have Daryl Sutter, you have Brent Sutter. There were 6 brothers that actually played in the NHL.
Yeah.
Some played on the same team. They played all scattered about.
The Blues,
Yeah,
the Bruins.
exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, the 6 brothers played against each other. These brothers, actually, when they were playing against each other, there were numerous times they got in fights against each other.
Would they fight each
During
other?
the game, they actually got in a fight. Okay? You think afterwards they were like, oh, you're not my brother anymore?
Right,
No,
right.
man. They took a shower, they went out and got a beer. I mean,
Right.
sorry to get all riled up about this. That's bullshit. Though. I don't care how good friends you are with somebody. I just don't understand it. And the problem also arises, if you want to be profitable, if you want to make money at this game of poker, you can't pick and choose when your big hands are going to come. And what if your big hand happens to come against somebody you don't play hard against?
Mike's going to raise it up here to 80. Trish is going to call. And George's in there with a suited ace.
George is playing a lot of hands tonight.
Yeah,
huh?
he has 3-way action here. Ace, deuce of diamonds, king, queen, and 8-9. Mike pre-flop raiser with king, queen, and Mike hits the king.
And he's in good shape.
And Mike checks the top pair, and it gets checked around.
Yeah, Mike likes to play a little weird once in a while.
Turns a 5.
Well, George has got a gut shot now, actually, and so does Trish.
And look at the rivers and ace, and George backs into it. Mike didn't bet the turn either.
No.
And again, was that another reason why Mike wasn't betting against George and his mom?
No, I think he was playing around.
He was just trying to play.
I think he was
tricky.
playing a cagey there. Sometimes you'll see him do that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And when the turn came out, I'm surprised he didn't bet the turn either, though. So obviously he had a 7 come out.
Well, now George giving him half the pot. This is like the Twilight Zone here tonight, folks. I don't know what is going
Play
on.
your own game. Yeah.
I'm not going to give you a break.
Yeah.
That I'm
It's
saying.
better, yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, and George and Trish just said, Mike, play your game. What the hell are you doing? And I think actually David's going out to the table, and he's going to say something here in a second.
Hold hands and sing Kumbaya, too?
That's what I said. Everybody got to play their own hand. They gotta-
I felt bad, George. If you're playing a game with me and you do that to me, I'll feel insulted, okay?
Hey, where else on Live at the Bike will you get your host to go out and yell at the players?
Forward, we'll get somebody else.
Go back.
Yeah, you're on the internet. Yeah, just play your own game.
3-way action here.
I should be up like 6. I should have busted George twice already.
Yeah, that's true, Mike. You should have busted George twice.
Third ace came. Third ace came.
No, turns an ace here. Queen, Jack, deuce.
By,
Jack 6 is in the hand here in seat 6. And Ed is going to come out and bet here. He's made it straight on the turn.
You guys give me
And George is going to call.
yeah,
I bring the action player.
yeah.
And the river here is a 6. And now George makes 2 pair. And George is going to come out and bet here, but Ed has a straight. It's a third diamond, and Ed might be scared of a flush. You wonder if he's going to raise. It's an interesting way that the hand... What?
Play our hand.
And Ed folded King 10? What is going on here? What world are we living in here?
Oh,
He
man.
folded the straight when George bet there a little bit on the river?
Are we sure we got the cards right?
Bet $1,000 in your son on the river, all right?
Are you sure we got the cards right? Well, I'm not sure if you guys could hear me or not, but I went out there and I offered to do a kumbaya dance there. We're all going to hold hands.
No, we don't. No. No.
Well, that was kind of odd. I don't know what the heck's going on here.
Yeah, and that play at the end, again, I don't. Sometimes we have King 10 up there. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't King 10. It looked like King 10 to me.
Hey, 60.
Wow, that's a hell of a lay down there, Dave. Just scared of the flush.
Well, of course he made the flush. Come on. 3 diamonds up there, and he's betting. He has to have the flush.
Trish has raised it here,
All right.
and we're going to see 4-way action. She raised with 6-5 offsuit. $60. 10-7 deuce with a couple hearts.
King 10's got the best hand here, right?
Mike is going to come out and lead here with middle pair. He's going to bet 150 here. Now, George Y
He's
is
all in.
playing the short stack. He's going to move all in for 500. And I guess this is probably the way that you would play here. A short stack, not calling off 60% of your chips with pocket 4s pre-flop.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'll call you, buddy.
Wow, and Mike's going to make the call.
Yeah, well, he's got, obviously he's not drawing dead here. Any 7, any 8. Catch runner straight.
Well, here we go to the turn.
And
Turns
there's
a
a- now
9.
he's
He's got a
open-ended.
straight draw, and the river's an ace, but George Y is going to double through again. That's good. Takes it down.
George White's got about 1,300 now.
Yeah, Mike really should have busted George, Dave, with that ace-6 hand.
Well, he certainly should have had at least $600 or $700, or maybe $1,200, $1,300.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah. I don't know. It was funny too. I went out there and I asked him. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I don't know." I was like, "Okay." George yelled at me to get back in the booth. So get out of here.
Email here from EG. He says, when George bets on the end with King Jack on that hand against seed 5, he automatically turns and looks at him, which is sometimes a tell when somebody makes eye contact with you that he's bluffing. I've actually heard sometimes it's the other way around. When someone stares you down, they have the goods. So, it's kind of...
Well, Mike Caro actually says when somebody looks at you,
Yeah.
when somebody is not paying, is like looking away,
Right,
they're
right.
actually, it's more of a fake tell. They're more likely to have it.
Right.
And somebody who's forcefully looking you down, they're more likely to be bluffing. That's according to Mike Caro.
Mike is raised here with 7-3 offsuit out of the small blind. And he shows the bluff. And I think that somebody folded ace-king. I think it might have been seat 3. I think it was seat 3 limped in with ace-king and folded. Oh, it was Ed in seat 2. Ed is playing like... I can't figure this guy out, Dave. I mean, he folded against George on the river, and now he folds against Mike, ace-king pre-flop.
You know, you wonder here. I'm not sure what Ed. You wonder what Ed bought into the game for, because right now he's probably got close to. I want to say close to $4,000.
Yeah.
You wonder if he's just not comfortable with the money on the table. What do you think? I mean, isn't that maybe a possibility? He's just not comfortable at this level.
Email here from Let's Trade DNA at AOL.com. Hey guys, after George the Greek poker god goes broke from being on tilt, let him know there's a gas station near the bike that's looking for a clerk to work graveyard shift. Well, there you go. Limped around here. Queen, deuce, 5.
Yeah, 2 pair for Mo.
And Mo's not played many hands. He's going to come out and bet here from early position. That's 120.
Yeah, nobody's got much of anything. I imagine this is just fold around. And it does. Mo takes it down. Hey, I want to hand it to for George, though. I mean, you actually goes, look, George is on tilt. George is on tilt. You know, if he was on tilt, it certainly didn't last very long.
Right.
He obviously got a hold of his emotions. But he is certainly playing a lot more hands tonight. I wonder if that's a strategy. He wants to see more flops tonight.
But moves over here to seat 8.
Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here at Bart Hansen. You're watching No Limit Hold'em. The lines are 10 and 20. This is the minimum buy-in, 1,000. No maximum. You get a raise here out of seat number 5.
Eddie's going to take it down here.
Button moves over to seat number 9. Small blind is Trish. Big blind is Ed. Ramsey's under the gun. He's first to act, folks. Speaking of under the gun, if you want to check out my new blog, you can go to liveatthebike.com. On the left-hand side, it says Tuckman Under the Gun. Click on it, and I kind of give you updates of what's going on in my life and my poker and everything. Writing is actually one of my first loves. So let me know what you think about it. Do appreciate that.
Button moves over there to seat 9. That's George Y.
Limp, limp, limp. Action is on George. Georgian. And he limps. Mike's gonna limp.
Yeah, got pocket. No, he's going to raise the pocket thirds. Big limp raise.
Yeah, it makes it $80 there.
If I checked, you wouldn't have played it.
Now, by raising, now I like the raise by Mike there. By raising, he buys himself the button.
She does.
And now we're going to finally see C3 play. He's got ace 4 of hearts. Allen's in there with king 10. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-way action times 80. Plus the blind's about a $500 pot pre-flop. Here we go.
7, deuce, deuce. Not a bad flop for threes.
Nope. Trish is going to come out and lead with a flush draw. She's going to bet 300.
Straight.
Mike has the best hand, doesn't he?
He does.
I'm gonna watch it.
He's got the best hand by far.
I know. He's out of the game and he's there.
And Mike's going to call it down.
500.
And it's heads up here, folks.
Here we go to the turn. Turns in 8.
And that changes nothing. George is out of the hand, folks.
Check, check here on the turn. And the river's club, and Trish makes it.
Yep. And look,
She's
Trish
gonna
bets it. So that's how you play.
She bets 500. Now Mike knows there's nothing he can beat.
I love it. That's
Turn
how-
was an 8 of hearts, and the river was a jack of clubs.
That sounds fun.
And Trish is going to take it down there.
And look at that. Trish against her own son. She bets the river.
Yeah.
No hard feelings there. You got to realize that when you're playing poker, folks, it's not personal. Okay, leave your ego at the door.
That'll be fun to watch if she
Well, you bluffed. No, that was a good bluff when you went all in.
bluff.
We're always waiting for that big hand between Allen and Mike.
Yeah. I haven't heard
Continuously
Alan, a lot of fireworks early in the show, but hasn't done much the last hour or so.
That's Allen.
Good bust both of them.
I got to tell you, though, Allen is one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet, though, in your
He's
life.
super nice.
Yeah.
Super, super nice. The problem is, first of all, he talks too much now.
Yeah, it gets people on tilt.
Oh, he just drives people crazy.
Yeah.
Well, every single hand he plays, I'm going to raise here from Trish and seat 1 on the button.
Can't see what she has over there. Got to
No.
put cards in the window.
But every single hand he plays, or folds, or raises, or calls down, he gives you like a friggin' dissertation of why he did it.
A diatribe.
Exactly. Ace Jack offsuit here.
Yeah, Trish brought it in for a raise to 80. Now, seat 3, Ramsey called with a suited connector. Seat 5's in there with up and down suited. And George is in there with 4-5 offsuit. 4-way action here, $320 pot. Ed is not in the hand.
Wow. But what a flop for George.
7-6-3. George has flopped the nuts.
Now, the problem for him is, unfortunately, nobody's got a big pair. If somebody had a pair of aces or a pair of kings, he'd get paid off in a big way.
And I love the bet here. He bets 120. If he checks it to Trish, you know what? Trish might check. She's not that aggressive post-flop. She just might check right behind him. And what happens then if an 8 or a 5 or, something action killer comes out?
Yeah, I actually like the bet. You got to hope that one of these players is hoping for a check raise. And look at Ramsey's going to call this. You got to hope that somebody is looking for a check raise, or that somebody's got a big pocket pair.
And Raheem calls with a gut shot to the 5, and Ramsey's in there with overcards and the gut shot to the 8. While the turn's an ace, and 2 people pick up flush draws now.
Yeah, and Ramsey's got a pretty big hand now. Ramsey an 8 or a spade.
And George checked the turn, Dave, and the river's a king. Wow. I mean, I guess, what would be the purpose of checking the turn there? I'm lost.
Well, I think he's checking the
Trying
turn.
to induce a bluff here?
I think exactly what he's looking for.
And Ramsey's going to bet 400 here.
And sure enough, he's gotten that done. If he bets the turn, he makes no more money.
Oh, that's not true.
Oh, you're right. I'm
With
sorry.
what was
Spade,
out
spade.
there?
You're right.
Yeah.
You're 100% correct.
And now George here is going to raise.
Raise 7.
He's going to raise it up 700 more.
He's got the absolute nuts.
I guess, the funny thing there is, from what we saw, I think a turn bet was very, very necessary for increasing value. He would have gotten called in both spots.
Yeah. It was also kind of dangerous, like you said. Obviously he was checking there to induce a bluff on the river.
Yeah.
But you've got to realize the flop is 3, 6, 7.
Right.
And 2 players called you. Isn't it possible that one of these players has an open-ended straight draw also?
Yeah.
Maybe 8, 9. And it turns out that seat 3 there, Rams actually had 9, 10, had the gut shot. But then the second spade comes out. If the guy bets maybe what? If George bets like what, $250, $300, he probably gets called in both spots, right?
Right. I think maybe even more than that. You might even get a check raise by one of those guys.
Yeah, you're right.
You never know. Because remember, you bet out there on that flop. The guy check raise you might try to check raise you representing aces up there.
Yeah, definitely.
5-way action. And they can't necessarily put you on the nut straight. They might just put you on, a pair or something.
It puts you. Well, it's very easy. What if I put him on pocket 9s or something like that, right? Pocket 10, something like that. You represent the ace.
Well, you can easily check raise there with a big draw and use the scare card from an ace to get somebody off of something like
Exactly.
pocket 9. We got a bet here by seat 9.
By checking, obviously, you don't give that person a chance to make a move.
Seat 9 bet, and Trish raised it here. She's going to raise with her draw, and she's going to take it down with the semi-bluff.
Nice play by Trish.
Takes it down with the semi-bluff.
One of the reasons you raise with a draw is you never really know what your opponent is betting. And if they're not super strong, hey, you can get them off the best hands. 22 Skidoo over at 2+2 says, Tuck, yo, dude, chill out.
How do I Skype you? Well, you can Skype us. Go to Live at the Bike is the Skype nickname.
That's what is it, Skype.com?
Yeah, Skype.com. Download their software, and you can leave a voicemail for us or chat. We got our first Skype ever a couple days ago, or on Thursday, I think.
Did we?
From a guy who said Asian nipples.
That's all he said?
Yeah, that was the message pretty much. Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions. 7-way action limped around here. Wow, all hearts. And we got a flopped flush here for George in seat
Actually,
6.
Mike.
Oh, it is Mike, you're right.
But wait, is Raheem Raheem's got a bigger flush.
Wow, Raheem flopped a bigger flush. 2 flop flushes, and we know Mike's not going anywhere here. Do we have the ace of hearts in the hand? No, it doesn't look like it. Seat 2 makes the call. Ed with top pair, and Raheem is going to check raise. Mike bet out on the flop flush, got a call by King 10. Allen called with ace jack, and Raheem has check raised 1,000, and I think Mike is going to lose it all here.
1,000?
1,000.
Wow, how big was the original bet?
100.
And he check raised it to 1,000?
104 calls. He's check raising the pot here. $100 bet and 4 calls. The pot was about 600. And Mike moves all in. And Raheem has got the second nuts here. And Mike is drawing dead. There's no way that he can.
Yeah, he needs runner,
actually,
straight flush.
You're right. He can catch a 6 of hearts and an 8 of hearts exactly. Raheem's going to check one more time. 1,625. Raheem calls.
They need a 6 and an 8 or a 10 and 8.
Wow. Well, unbelievable.
But I think the 10 was in somebody's hand. Yeah, and the 10 of hearts.
Here we
was
go to the
in-
turn. Turn is a 10.
Strong dead.
Yeah, river's a 4.
26, you said? Don't think. Count your chips.
Wow.
That's 15. This is 18.
I think the ice cream truck is coming.
Yeah, that was some sort of weird audio going on here. And Raheem powers through Mike.
In case somebody waiting for it.
Sounds like one of our mics is on backup audio or something. You know, kind of like one of those baseball broadcasters. Kind of go sometimes to like backup audio. Sounds like they're on a phone. Sounds like they're on a phone or something.
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, I'll take your word for it. And how much money did Raheem have?
He had 1,000.
I mean, he bet 1,000, then he moved all in.
Yeah.
Then Mike moved on. So what did he have? I mean, another 1,800 more.
Yeah, I think he. No, I think that.
Well, let's get a total of this. Well, how much did Raheem have there?
Yeah, and Raheem had Mike covered. Unbelievable.
Wow. So we're
Yeah.
talking about a $7,000
Yeah, that was a
pot, folks.
huge pot, folks. 6,000 or 7,000.
Wow.
Unbelievable. What a hand by Raheem.
You know, and I thought he check raised a lot of money there, but he got Mike
Yeah.
to put it all in on the flop, which is exactly what you want to do. Obviously, if another heart comes off there, he probably makes no more money off Mike.
You're going to deal that.
Time's trying to get cold there.
Wow. Button moves over here to Allen in seat 4.
Get an email here from Chris C. Talking about the polygamy thing.
All right.
Thank you very much for the email. Very interesting.
Email from Brent Cook complimenting you on giving you props.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Brent.
And Jason Whitmore. Props to Tuckman. Wow, look at this. Email here from Robin. Utku. I can't pronounce the last name. She says, or she or he says, here's some info for you. You're being watched at the Casino Filipino in Angeles City, Philippines. It's noon there on Wednesday right now. The employees heard about your site when I was there 2 weeks ago. Your site has become international. There you go.
That's
Thank you,
great.
Robin. We're
Well,
seeing
fabulous.
the
Thanks a lot.
Philippines. And Mike is going to buy in for 3,000 more here. Remember, Barry Woods is still in New Zealand on his Kiwi adventure vacation. Button moves over here to Allen in seat 4.
I actually saw Barry on my calendar because I think my wife has giving him a massage in like 2.5 weeks or something like that.
You saw him on the calendar.
So I know when he's coming back.
We had a raise here by Trish with King Jack of Diamonds. 1, 2, 3, 4-way action here. It's about a $320 pot. Trish is the pre-flop raiser. Here we go.
All hearts again.
Queen 9-3, and George Y this time's flopped a flush.
Man, what his hearts are like. Hot here, huh?
And Mike is going to come out and bet 400. He's got top 2 pair. And George is just going to call here. Really surprised. Well, maybe he's not that short. He's going to slow play the second nut flush. And Mike is going to need to spike a full house. We can see one of the queens is dead. He flopped the monster again. Hopefully for George, a heart won't kill his action while it turns a nice blank. Mike moves all in, and George calls. Mike's run into another flopped flush.
Where did you fucking come from? Fuck me.
Mike needs a queen or a 9 here. Here we go to the river. And the river's a heart, and Mike has lost to 2 flop flushes.
Wow.
3,000 again here.
Amazing.
Wow.
We had just got an email, or I saw a 2+2 post saying, hey, when can I... Why can't we ever see Mike get upset? Why is it always off the air?
Right.
Well,
Well,
there you go.
Let's see if he rips up some cards here.
Yeah, and lucky for him, obviously, George Y only had about $1,300.
Yeah. Look at him go.
Almost like the professor.
Right.
He's like your philosophy class teacher, you know? He's like that really cool, like, actually, he's like a really cool, like, I want to say like a social studies teacher in
Is there such a thing? Isn't that an oxymoron? A cool social studies teacher?
No, but you know, one of those like, you know, kind of like philosophy, social studies teachers in college who like, he conducts class at a bar. Didn't you ever have one of
I
those?
had an English teacher in Syracuse, an ETS guy. His name was Charlie Lindquist, and he was pretty much kind of a drunk English professor. We would have like these small classes, and they would be conducted at a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a philosophy teacher like that. He would say, we had class, but he would always say, if you want extra credit or you just want to talk philosophy and life with me, I'll be at the bar at happy hour, guys. And we'd all meet there with him. It was great. He was so cool. Super cool guy, I mean, I tell you.
We got a raise here by seat 5 with ace queen. And 3-way action here. Ace 5-4. Raheem flops top pair, and Trish's got top pair as well.
You wonder, is Trish going to get involved with this? I mean, she's got a weak ace here. She's going to put a little money and see where she's at. And she bets $300 into about a $400 pot. And Raheem is just going to call, and the pot is quickly $1,100.
Here we go to the turn.
Oh, wow. Top 2 now for Raheem. And Trish is drawing dead.
Yep, Raheem's going to bet from the button. 600 here.
And Trish is going to call this?
Wow, I can't believe Trish is getting involved with this.
Wow, man.
Over a $2,400 pot to the river, and the river here is a 5, and now Trish might think it might be a chop pot.
Yeah, that's what she's got to hope for at this point.
She checks, and now you put like a nice overbet.
Oh.
Oh, I can't believe you didn't bet that river. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a huge missed value bet, isn't it, against a weak ace?
You know, if a 5 from the turn, it's
Yeah.
a little more scary because maybe she was betting second pair.
Right.
But when she checks 2 on the turn and she calls a $600 bet, you really think she's calling you at, say,
Wow.
6-5? 7-5?
I mean, that could have been a $1,000, $1,500 value bet on the river there.
Well,
The
you
pot
want-
was already $2,400.
Yeah, I actually wrote about this in another article. And I mean, I'm talking about value bet there. That's clearly a value bet missed there. I mean, I would say ace queen is probably the worst hand, the best hand she could have. You know?
Yeah.
But she obviously probably doesn't have value there. She's going to bet that. She doesn't have ace king, I don't think. And I'm trying to think, would she check ace king thinking maybe her opponent had ace queen? Yeah, either way, I think it's definitely a value bet miss.
Any hands over there?
Seat 5 is going to raise here to 160. King, queen, offsuit.
Once again, live at the bike. Live, unedited, unscripted, totally raw, politically incorrect.
Yep, we're already through our first half of the show here. Ed is going to call with queen, jack of clubs, and Raheem has Ed dominated here. We talk about sometimes the value of queen, jack suited. Not looking to hit your queen or your jack, but the straighting possibility hits
Exactly.
hits your opponent hands big here.
Well, how about this one?
Wow, king, 8-9. Pre-flop razor has top pair. Ed's got a flush draw and a gut shot to the 10.
Yeah, he's got a big hand. And is Ed going to get involved?
Raheem bets 400, and let's see what Ed's going to do.
You know he's not going to raise this. I mean, it's either a fold or a call the way Ed's played all night. I mean, I like the raise here, personally.
Well, you never know, though. You know, he didn't raise with his big hands. Maybe he was the kind of guy that raises his semi-bluffs and slow plays his big hands. But he just check calls. We're heads up over $1,000 pot. Turns a blank.
Yeah, I mean, and now Ed's hand obviously is not nearly as good. And if Raheem puts a big bet in here, Ed's pretty much got to fold.
Well, he gives him a card. He's going to check right
Wow.
behind Ed. And the river's the third club. Unbelievable. Trish is not in the hand with a set of deuces. I don't know, what's that? What is that doing up? And we got a bet here by Ed.
Yeah, very exciting. Trish would have had a set of deuces,
Right.
though.
He's
And
going
her
to
set
bet
of deuces would've been no
600
good.
here. And Raheem is going to pay it off.
Yeah. And against a player like Raheem, obviously there is value going for flushes because he will pay you off. And sometimes with king queen there and that kind of flop, sometimes you want to keep the pot small.
Right.
But I think a flop like that, once again, the same as before, that flop is just too dangerous to give a free card. I
Yeah.
would bet turn and
Maybe
then,
take a showdown, right?
yeah, you bet the turn and then you get a free showdown.
Right.
You can't let the guy get that for free.
Bud moves over there to Mike.
Ed puts a nice value bet in there on the river and gets paid off. I mean, that was, what was that, about, I want to say, turned out to be about a $2,000 pot. when
Yeah,
it was all
almost
said and done.
$1,800
Yeah.
probably at the end.
Wow. I mean, Ed might be our big winner tonight.
I think so.
Running on it. Might as well raise it up.
Mike's going to raise here.
I mean, it's between him and Raheem right now.
Right. Mike's going to raise with pocket threes from the button. And he's going to take it down.
It's gonna be fucking pocket three.
You know, it's funny. You used to shave. Well, you had your head shaved like a couple weeks ago, right? Or maybe a month ago.
Never like Mike.
Never like.
Yeah.
You have to shave your head like every day. Like, is it
To
like
get like
shaving
Mike, you
your
mean?
face? Yeah. Like every day, right? Pretty
I would imagine, yeah. I would imagine it grows back a little bit.
Let's take a
Look
look
at this
the
now.
chip count here.
You know, when the show started, we only had $18,000 on the table. Now we got $34,000 with all the rebuys.
And let's take a look at the differences here. Let's see who's up.
Wow.
Yeah, Raheem and Ed both not necessarily, made some of the greatest plays tonight, but they're up the most amount of money.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Raheem,
Incredible.
obviously, we saw a huge pot there where he doubled up off of Mike.
Right.
He probably gave about $600 winnings to Ed just a couple
Yeah.
seconds ago. But those two are by far our big winners. Mo's only played one hand all night. How is he up $1,200? Amazing.
We got a raise here by Mike, Jack 7. George is in there with sixes, and Raheem's in there with deuce 4 of hearts. And Mike is in there with Jack 7. Trish is not in the hand. There we go. Ace Jack 10 here on the flop. Turn is a 7, and now Mike has 2 pair. He checked the
Yeah.
flop, Dave. Surprising. And now Raheem is going to bet into a flush draw. And Mike is just going to call.
And if a heart comes, he's going to lose again.
Turn is a 7. Mike has 2 pair. He just calls the turn. Raheem needs a heart and a heart only. Here we go to the river. And the river is a 10. Mike gets counterfeit.
Yeah, it's a terrible river card for Mike. Now, Mike's got jacks and 10s with an ace kicker. The 7 is inconsequential. Still the best hand, though.
And Raheem's going to bet 400 here. And I think
Two pair. Jeez.
Mike might lay it down here, Dave.
You're unbelievable.
And Mike does not call him. Mike, and look at it, he shows the bluff. Wow.
To turn the favor back. You want to take advantage
Oh,
of it.
wow.
Wow, we got to stay on Mike there for a second.
I'm just trying to turn the favor and become a friend with you again, but no, you gotta be. F4.
I could hear this for a while. I could just listen to them for a couple minutes. That was funny. That was classic.
I know.
He turns it over and he goes, I'm not calling you.
And then Mike said, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh, this is great. The button moves over to seat 9.
Oh, this
I
is
love it.
classic. Classic live at the bike, folks. Once again, live at the bike, keeping it real.
Show me. When you make a stupid play, don't turn it over like you just did something great. You know what I mean? It's not hard to get me off that hand. You make a good bluff, show me. You make it, you know.
Mo's got aces. He raises.
Only game.
Button calls with Jack 10.
I'm not even on TV. I'm on internet.
Oh, internet. Well, I'm gonna tape it and.
Don't get too excited.
4-way action here. $320 pot. Oh, this is hilarious stuff. Oh, what a... Oh, well, Mo's got the ace of clubs in his hand. 9, 7, 6. I was going to say a horrible flop for aces, but he's got the ace of clubs.
Yeah.
He's going to bet 200.
That's not a bad flop at all for aces.
What if you had 2 red aces, Dave, there?
It's a pretty bad flop. It's not, I mean, it's not as bad as, say,
King, Queen, 10, all clubs?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mo takes it down.
But obviously with 2 red aces, you can't take much heat.
Right.
It's so hard for it.
We sure don't have appetite, man.
What can I say?
Got an email here from Jason Whitmore who just made a Photoshop of a mic.
That's
Maybe
a
you can put that in the
great
2+2 for him.
I want a T-shirt of that one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
One make a baby, the other one clean.
Maybe you can put that on 2+2.
We only want to go out.
And they get along very good.
We only want to gamble with or go out with.
Jason Estevan says, hey guys, could Mike get away from that flush regarding the flush against Raheem? Or because the re-raise was an overbet, does Mike have to put him on a setter or the ace of hearts? They both had a lot of money behind. Well, the thing is, and that's from Jason Scott in Toronto, I don't know many people that can full flop flushes, Dave.
Yeah, it's difficult, and
Yeah.
I'll get to it in a second from what I was thinking on that hand.
8-4-3 here with a couple spades.
Okay.
That's checked around, turns a king. And does anyone have a... Well, Raheem had a pretty big hand. He had a pair and a flush draw, and he's checked it twice. He checked a flop, and he checked the turn. And now George is going to come out and bet with king deuce in seat 6. And Raheem calls, and we're heads up. He just makes the call here with queen 3. And the rivers are 5. And this is probably going to once again get checked down.
Yeah, I imagine.
Well, wait a minute. George's going to throw a little value bet out here.
Wow.
Maybe he figures the guy might have an 8 or something, Dave.
I like the bet by George. But he shows it. Why did he show it? Now, I'm just going to answer that question. It's at least my best. My best of my ability. When seat 5, when Raheem overbets, remember there's 100, 100, 100, and then he makes it 1,000. I mean, it almost looked like he was scared of a turn card. I mean, to me, it almost screamed like he had 2 pair or a set. I don't know if you can get away from that, especially with that kind of bet. I mean, if you just call,
Yeah, so then if
I mean, I suppose you could call and see what the turn brings, but that doesn't change anything. And if he moves all on the turn, well, then what do you do?
Right.
I mean, flopping a flush is tough to get away from it. It really is. I mean, oftentimes I can get away from it if I'm playing against a player that I know really well, and I know wouldn't make that move unless he had a flush. But against a player that I don't know very well, like a player like Raheem, and obviously Mike doesn't know him very well at all, it's really difficult to get away from it. Trish raised this up, by the way. She made it $80 to go with King Jack in the cutoff, bought herself the button, and got called in 3 spots.
4-way action here, $320 pot, ace 8-5.
Now that's the kind of flop you want if you have ace 8. Now I don't think Mo is actually in the hand. No, he's not.
Trish is going to continue to bet here. Next, a nice continuation bet, King Jack.
And can Allen call with 7-8?
Against Trish? We've seen Trish make this type of continuation bet when she's missed. Not that often, but she's using the ace as a scare card. I love it. With King Jack, you got to figure, well, I can hit my king, my jack, or an ace, Steve.
When did Allen lose money? Didn't he win that monster hand, the Queen Jack, right at the beginning of the show?
Maybe he's just been kind of, dribbling down the whole way.
Giving 400 here, 300 here. Guess so. Wow. I mean, because
He's going to move all in with middle pair.
he's got almost nothing here. He's got almost no money.
And Trish can't even call. Well, the funny thing there is that I don't know if Trish did the math because, Allen called the initial 300, and I think it might have only been about 200 more. Well, I guess if you figure Allen has an ace, you're
Yeah, that's the problem. If you know he has an 8, yeah, okay. But if he has an ace, you're drawing dead almost.
Right. Trying to run in cards,
Yeah.
obviously, to some sort of 2-pair.
You'd probably need closer to 15 to 1, right?
Right.
Nice straddle.
Live straddle here by the Greek poker god, George, in seat 6.
Get a nice email here from CJ Beckard, I want to say.
Bouchard.
Bouchard, okay.
Yeah.
Out in Kansas City. Saying enjoys the broadcast very much. He's been playing Hold'em for 10 years or so in casinos in the Kansas City area. And this broadcast has helped me tremendously. Keep up the great work. Well, thanks a lot and keep
The
watching.
reason why I know how to pronounce that name is because that's my mother's maiden name.
Really?
Yeah, that's a French-Canadian name, if that is...
Is that Daddy? Is that your grandfather? No, okay.
In the Kansas City area?
I don't know, man.
Pocket Queens here is going to raise in C3. And Mike is going to call here with the ace-8 suited. Straddled by George. Ramsey brought it in for about 150, and Mike called. King-6 here.
Yeah, we haven't heard much from Ramsey. He's a real tight, real solid
That's not a
player.
bad flop for Queens, but he didn't bet, Dave.
No.
Well, the turn's another king, and now you got to know your Queens.
Well,
are good.
I think he was checking actually to induce a bluff. And Mike's not going to buy it.
Yeah.
Mike's not going to fall for the trap.
I'm going to change my queens to kings.
And Ramsey takes it down.
Ramsey, just reach to your
My
chip.
queens, I'm
That's
changing.
all.
And most of the players at this table know Ramsey. He plays a lot of the shootouts with them, the $1,000 shootouts every once in a while. And they're all familiar that Ramsey's real solid. If he's in there, he's got something good.
I'll come all the time. I know, your eights always come.
I was listening a little bit to the Circuit. Again, we were on the Circuit episode if you go to cardplayer.com or sign up for a Circuit subscription in iTunes. Podcast Dave and I were on. You can check it out. It says special guest Dave Tuckman. It actually says Bart Hansen and Dave Tuckman, special guest. But they were actually talking about, I think it was with the show with Greg Raymer, about how in nowadays big tournaments, sometimes a little bit of passive conservative play in large fields is actually what Raymer says is sometimes the best strategy, as opposed to over-aggression. Crazy, say, grinder aggression.
Right. Well, I mean, you
Ace
definitely
five
make
queen
a case for that.
Checked around, checked all the way down here, and Mike is going to take it down here with the deuce.
Yeah. You can definitely make a case for that if you think about it. If you think a lot of these players that are new to the game are always scared of being bluffed off.
Well,
They're going to call you down anyway.
No, I can constantly see Mattisau, who's the co-host of that show, constantly says that, even with big hands like kings or queens, he always wants to see a flop, and that's how Phil Hellmuth plays too, because guys are not going to get away from 9s and 10s on a ragged board, but you don't necessarily want to commit all your chips in the case that ace-deuce knocks you out because they flop an ace.
Right.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, I guess their thinking is, obviously, the more experienced the player, the better they'll play post-flop.
Right.
And that's where they want to put their chips in, post-flop. As opposed to, obviously, pre-flop. If I'm in a tournament and I'm heads up with Phil Ivey, I don't mind putting my money in pre-flop with him at numerous times. I don't want to give him a chance to outplay me. But if I'm playing with somebody with less experience than me, I probably want to play a lot of smaller hands. Kind of Kenneth's style, too, right? Kenneth likes to play a lot of small hands. Kenneth James we're talking about. Speaking of Kenneth James, actually, here this Wednesday, right? He will be on the World Poker Tour.
That's right, the Legends of Poker episode.
Good for him.
Then I'm raising my card.
Hey, I don't know, there's a rule now right now. If you say, if I say something to the lady, oh, you're so beautiful.
Sexual harassment laws? I know, it's crazy.
They change it.
It's amazing how many laws. It's amazing how many laws.
King Jack 6 here on the flop.
Yeah, you gotta
Mike
do
is
it.
open-ended here.
Democracy and everything out of this.
He's going to bet right into Ramsey's pocket fives, and he's going to take it down.
Nice bet by Mike there.
Yeah, she can sexual harassment.
Are you serious? That's
Especially if you say that.
And there is a job.
I don't know where to put all the compliments when it comes from
Because
your
you
mouth.
drool when you say it, Alan.
I know you love me, but don't just say it so many times. I know it. We'll go private, then show your love to me.
And there's Alan. Alan wants Mike to show him his love towards him.
Thanks, Mike, anyway.
Wow.
Again, we're playing 10-20 no limit, unrestricted buy-in, $1,000 min. Brown chips are $10 chips. White chips are $100 chips.
Any
Big
night
gray
Just
ones
the
are
thought
$1,000.
of Mike's
bad,
love.
take it on me. I'll take it.
I don't think I ever want to see Mike's love.
Chopper play.
Scary. Only at Live the Bike.
How about that? See, like him, I'm trying
Mike
to
does
be
have
your
a pretty
friend,
cute
but
girlfriend,
don't
you know.
push it too much.
I think she's like a Filipino or something like that, Indonesian. I forget her name. I've seen her around and about before.
She's Asian?
Well, you know, it's funny. I actually got into a discussion with Ray, our camera guy. I don't
Yeah.
think that people who are Filipino and Indonesian are Asian, right? Ray? I don't know if Ray can hear me. Islanders, Pacific Islander.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe you can't say that either.
Yeah, we'll start getting emails. People can tell me.
sure.
But I think they considered
Well, it's
Islanders.
Indo.
I know she's
Indo-
not
yeah,
gonna
I guess
sue,
not.
that I know. So I'll tell her. I'll send compliment to her.
Hey, I had a great time in Hawaii. Great native girls there, too. Those are Islander girls.
Yeah, those are
Maui.
clearly Pacific
Yeah,
Islanders.
yeah.
Right.
Calls alcohol.
Got a raise here on the button by Mike with the suited connector.
I like that kind of hand raising on the button with that hand.
Pretty good.
Three-way action.
What's up with you?
Wow. Nice flop for Mike, huh?
Mike flops the nuts. Deuce 3-4. And he does not bet.
Check that out.
He's going to give up a card here. It's a rainbow board. Turns an 8.
That doesn't change anything here. Is anybody going to take a shot at it, though? And look, he's in a hand with George and
Right.
Trish.
He bets 100 here.
Trying to trap somebody. And George is going to take a shot at it, and you know Trish isn't either.
See if Mike gets pissed and shows.
I raised it 5-6. Flop the stone cold nuts.
Oh my God.
Can't get a fucking cent.
Oh my God.
It's the Twilight Zone.
Is that what you're talking about? Like when Mike is like, you know, kind of complaining about this, and then Alan says, "Oh, it's like the Twilight Zone."
Yeah.
Like, it's like Alan, you know, you might want to keep your comments to yourself.
It's not just that. There are times where Alan will give somebody a bad beat, right?
Right, yeah.
And he'll give Mike a bad beat. And then he'll give you literally a 15-minute reason
About why he knew.
why he had to call.
Right, right.
Why he knew he had to call.
Oh,
And nobody wants to hear it. And you can see Mo sitting there kind of uncomfortably. He's trying to sit there going, shush, shush,
yeah,
don't
yeah.
talk, don't talk, don't
Right.
say nothing. You know, and Mo's ever trying to be the diplomat, trying to
Right.
keep Alan happy and keep the whole table happy at the same time.
Mike raises here to 80 with King Deuce of Diamonds.
Everybody thinks Mo's job is so easy. You try to be a no-limit host.
Right.
Learning it, I mean, it's
Ed's got ace king, and he's actually going to play this time.
If I have to pay, please change it. I want it to be juicy.
Well, Alan limped in here with 6-4 diamonds. He's going to come in. And George is in there with 10 deuce offsuit.
Who
Wow.
raised this pot?
George?
Yep.
Our George?
Yep.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way action here. King deuce, the initial raiser, and Mike hits top pair. King jack 9. Well, Trisha's got middle pair and she's open-ended. And it looks like Ed might lead here with ace king, and he does.
Actually, Trish has got the gut shot. George has got the same gut shot.
And Ed's going to lead here. And Mike is outkicked. Is this really the type of flop you're looking for with king deuce? He makes the call.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't heard from Ed all night. Anytime Ed's betting, I'm gone.
And Trish did not get involved. She didn't have any hearts in her hand. There's a 2 flush up there.
Well, they would have got there, but.
Turns a queen.
Like this, look
And ace king is still good here.
And you wonder, can Mike represent now? Ed is in great shape here. Not only is he the best hand, but he also has a gut shot to the straight if a 10 were to hit. Mike needs a deuce and only a deuce. I mean, he's in really bad shape.
A deuce and only a deuce.
But that's a scary board for ace king.
Check, check, and the river's a 4.
Feel one more.
And I imagine this might go check, check again.
Well, Ed looks like he's going to come out and bet a little bit here, Dave.
Really? Wow. I mean, I find it very odd what hands Ed chooses to bet.
No. Check, check. Ace king is good here.
Okay. I was going to say.
Let's
I
see
was
if
like-
Mike gets pissed again.
Ace king.
Guy slow rolled him a little bit.
Yeah, I
I jacked him.
think he had a feeling his hand might not be good there.
Yeah, but I was.
You could have made some money now. Why'd you play like such a girl?
You threw it away.
Underbet the
No,
flop,
yeah.
hoping I'd raise you. Check the turn.
You jacked him too, huh?
Could have got some money out of it.
Huh?
Second pair.
That second pair.
Wow.
Yeah.
Button moves over there to Ed Y in seat 9.
Well, that's Mike.
Definitely put him on the king. I mean, I'm underdog.
There's the little screenshot there. I don't know if it's quite big enough for people to read it, but
It's a great
Yeah.
shot of that. That's Mike.
on 2+2, the email says, fuck, why the hell did I soft play George? And then it said chips, ... and it shows Raheem with the check mark with queen deuce of hearts against this flop flush here. Pretty good stuff.
Lipped around 6 ways, folks. $120 pot. Flop is 10-7 deuce. And Trish is going to bet this. She's got a 10. 10-5 offsuit. She was in the small blind. She's going to bet $8. And I imagine she's going to take it down. Nope. I spoke too soon. Because George Y is calling with ace deuce. He's got bottom pair. The turn is a 7. Changes nothing. That's got to be a scary card for Trish. But it goes check, check. And the river's king. Yeah, changes nothing again. Raheem is not in the hand anymore. This is heads up between Trish and George Y. And Trish is going to win this.
Check, check again here. I mean, if you're going to call him the flop with ace deuce, I mean, is he just looking to try to hit 2 pair there, a deuce or ace? Or, I mean, if he actually represented by either betting the turn or the river, I don't think Trish is going to call him there with 10-5, right?
Yeah, you put yourself in a spot where, yeah, I'm just not sure. I mean, she bets, first position, she bets into 5 players. I mean, I guess she could be betting 8-9 there.
Right. And Duke emails us again and correctly points out, I always think it's funny when Mike goes off on someone or curses at someone when his mom is at the table, especially a couple weeks ago when I was talking about when Mike said, fuck you, Alan, when his mom was right next to him in seat 9 and Mike was talking to Alan in seat 1.
Yeah, you know, Trish in seat 1 there. Mike's mom. She's super cool. And I don't think she obviously has no problem with the way Mike acts.
Look at this. Mo raised with ace-jack and Allen limped with king-queen and laid it down in early position. There you go.
Wow. The transformation of an Allen. Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen, and you're watching No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 10 and 20, and you can catch us every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. You can also email us at live@thebike.com, or you can follow us on a live thread at 2+2. Go to forums, go to World Poker Tour and other events. And we're live at the bike thread for March 13th.
Yeah, that's under tournament poker.
Yeah, wow.
Is it March 13th?
It is March 13th. You can also check out our website, liveatthebike.com. Got a whole bunch of things. We got like poker news on the left-hand side. We got a Pokulator over there.
Yep.
We have my blog, Under the Gun. Check that out.
Limped around here.
Once I gotta make it love. You got to sleep or play gambling or eat the food.
Ace, queen, deuce.
A couple players have deuces. Nobody's got a queen or an ace, though. Oh, I'm sorry, actually. Trish has an ace. Take it back. And Mike is going to bet $50 with a deuce. And Trish is going to call. And Alan's going to call with a deuce.
Wow.
How about a deuce here?
That's right.
No. Not going to happen.
Nope.
An 8 instead. 8 of spades. So ace, queen, deuce. Now the 8 of spades out there.
See, one's going to bet 200 here, and no one is going to call.
Yeah, now Trish had ace 7 there. Both other players only had a deuce.
Dave, I got to tell you something, and I don't know, how soon this is going to come into reality. But we were actually throwing around in a pre-production meeting today about how cool would it be to have a camera follow around some of our regulars on the show in their real lives. Like, say, have a camera go to Mo's house, follow Alan around in the morning, put it up on the website. Corporation Mike. Outside of the poker table, like a little reality live at the bike.
Reality TV meets poker players?
Right.
The oddest thing is I always wondered, how they consider, Survivor or, all these shows. How are those reality shows? Whose reality is that?
How about Real World? Is that reality? That was the original reality.
Not really. It's a bunch of people thrown into the house. You want reality. Get real. Actually, our camera following Barry Woods home.
Yeah,
or
Barry Woods,
Mike,
he'd love to be a part of that, too.
That would be reality.
Barry Woods getting massaged by your wife. You can upload that onto the website.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. That will never, ever be on the show. You will never see that. Nobody will ever see that, including you.
Slumped over, had a heart attack right there. We tried to revive him. Put him in the hospital.
So it's March 13th, huh, Dave?
Right at the table, yeah.
Right now it is March
They said
13th.
My
it's his
father's
turn.
birthday.
He just
Your father's birthday,
quietly
man?
just smoked it.
You didn't call him?
I sent him a card a couple days ago, and now I am now sending him an email about 10 minutes before it turns to the 14th.
What kind of son are you?
I know.
I mean, if I hadn't said it was March 13th, you would have no idea.
It just, it just kind of triggered in my head now.
You can name it anything.
I know, huh? They did, they said that.
Now you're gonna make me look again, huh?
Seat 2 is going to raise here to 80.
I think I like your hand.
Yeah, Seat 2 actually raised it up here. Interesting. He raised it up. He wants to mix it up a little bit. He's raising with 8-4 clubs. Badly dominated by George Y, who has ace-10 of clubs. The flop is, look at this.
Oh, wow.
Seat number 2.
4-8-8 on the flop.
Yeah, seat number 2. He finally tried to come. He comes out of the box a little
Right.
bit. Decides to raise it with kind of a strange hand.
And he's going to come out and bet on the flop here.
Well, he's in late position. Nobody else is going to bet
80,
it.
and Allen's going to call with pocket fives, drawing totally dead here except to running fives for quads. What about a 5 on the turn here? Heads up here. Here we go to the turn. Turns a queen.
I know he's talking to me. He's talking to me. I said there's something going
Now-
on here. Something going on here.
No, he can
Now, this would be a time I'm actually hoping my opponent has an 8, and I will continue betting, or I'm hoping my opponent has spades, and I'll almost bet a small amount to build a pot.
Right,
So
build
if
a
the
pot
spade
on the
does
turn,
come,
as opposed
a big pot.
to checking the flop, checking the turn here. And look, he gets a call from Allen anyways. I love the bet on the turn here. Oftentimes you'll see people check there. The river's a deuce.
No, that's great. It's
Right.
a spade. Now you almost overbet it, hoping your opponent has hit the spades.
Yep.
That's what you're hoping for. If your opponent has an 8, okay, the spade might have killed his hand.
Yep.
But at this point, you haven't heard from him. You're probably hoping that he is drawing to spades and he's hitting. And he's going to bet about $300. $240 into about a $750 pot. And Allen's not going to call. And it was really odd the way Allen played it. I mean, Allen kind of said, well, this guy, he's betting on spades. He's betting on spades. And then spades came and he threw his hand away. And look at it. It shows the 8-4.
Only 80 continue 80.
Send one of those white here.
You are running.
You're lucky the flush didn't hit. One white.
I'm reading this email over your head.
I was lucky.
Did you send your dad leather?
Oh, I got one. Okay.
Yeah, leather jacket.
Oh,
He's
okay.
a motorcycle guy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
There's
very cool.
something going on.
Button moves over here to Allen in seat 4.
Why you win? Oh.
Well, happy birthday to your dad's name's Richard, right?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Richard Hansen. Although I know he's not watching this.
He does sometimes.
Well, maybe I'll see the rebroadcast on the loop
That's
tomorrow.
right. Button over there to Allen in seat 4. Huge board for this game, Dave. I'm getting worried. Well over 10 names.
Well, I mean, we have our big no-limit hold'em tournament tonight, obviously. Over 250 people in the tournament, and all those players that are getting knocked out, they want to play some poker.
Ace, King, 7 here. A couple clubs. George has got a flush draw. I like betting into these types of boards when no one raised pre-flop because you can't necessarily give anybody credit for an ace.
And if somebody has an ace, they might have a weak ace.
Yeah,
you might
weak
get them off
ace.
anyway.
And, does ace 3 of diamonds really want to get involved with this type of flop?
Exactly.
And he makes the bet. I love the bet here. I don't know what Raheem is thinking of.
And oftentimes, if you check if a weak ace does call you,
Yeah.
and you check the turn, oftentimes a weak ace will check behind you, thinking you have a weak ace also.
And they want to keep the pot small. You almost get two cards for the price of one there.
Exactly.
Or you can look at it the other way around. You bet big on the turn, trying to get a weak ace off the hand.
As always, there's a million different ways to play a hand.
Right.
Button moves over to Raheem in seat 5. Small blind is George. Mike has actually gotten up from the table, so the big blind is Mo in seat 8. And first act is George Y in seat 9. He's under the gun. Well, actually, I'm sorry. That was actually Mike. He had gotten up for a second, but he's actually taking the blinds.
I regret I did.
And Ed is going to open limp with King 9 of spades. And that's going to bring Ramsey in with, I want to say, 8-7.
George is in the small blind here. He mucks. You can see those 2 yellow chips, which are $5 chips, which we see in the smaller games. And Mike's got big slick suited. He's going to raise it out of the blind.
Now you wonder now, does Ramsey take one off here? I'm not sure. Imagine Ed's probably going to lay this down, but does Ramsey call this, putting maybe Mike on a steal, or does he pick a better spot?
And again, we always talk about, in fact, I said it earlier in the show, that if Mike is raising, say, with ace-4 offsuit there, and you're coming in with a little suited connector, a small pocket pair, yeah, you might hit your hand, but are you really going to get paid off that big?
Yeah, against a player like Mike,
Yeah.
the odds of you hitting your hand and Mike actually having a good enough hand to pay you off, man, those odds are huge.
Although, I got to, the couple times, though, that Mike, say, has a big hand like aces or kings,
Oh.
and you flop a little set, have we ever seen him get away from an overpair? Very, very select times.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you have to understand that a lot of times he understands that he knows his image. And since he's such a gambler and he's mixing it around in all these different pots, he knows that a lot of other players assume that he doesn't have a very strong hand.
Right.
So then he thinks that maybe they might make that move with less than stellar hands, which is why he calls more often than most people.
Mike is going to raise here. He's got ace-queen this time out of the small blind.
I hope that made sense.
He makes it 120 to go, and now Ed's going to call with ace-9. Now, if you wonder if an ace flops, is he going to get in trouble?
Well, there's only one ace left.
Yeah, Allen's in there with jack-8, and George is in there with another ace, ace-4 diamonds. Four-way action here. Mike, the pre-flop raiser. Here we go to the flop. Wow, jack-8, jack. Allen flops a full house.
We've seen this like 4 times tonight. Amazing. And Mike's going to come out and bet.
He bets 300. Let's see how Allen's going to play it. Well, he's kind of short here, Dave. I mean, if he just calls here, doesn't it look kind of suspicious? I mean, he only has about 500 total, right?
Yeah,
he
but
calls.
I don't mind just a smooth call there.
I mean, the point is like, if you're so short chip turns of 4, wouldn't Mike call with 2 overs anyways if you moved all in on the flop? Gets checked to Allen, and he bets 200. Yeah, and Mike calls anyways, and he's drawing dead.
Yeah, but that's why I said I don't mind that play though.
River's a 5.
You flop top full house there.
Now let's see if Allen gives an explanation here. Seems like he's a little bit remarkably quiet. Oh, here we go. I can see his mouth moving, but maybe his mind's telling him not to say anything.
Well, there really wasn't much play there. It was pretty much he flopped full house.
Right.
Okay. And Allen doubles up there. And Allen's back up to about, what's he back up to, about 1,300 then?
Email here from Mike Antolini. He says, what's it mean to host one of these games? Do the hosts invite the players to play? Thanks, Mike. Well, partly, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mo has a lot of different phone numbers. He keeps in contact with the players.
yeah. I mean, he basically, before Mo worked here, we did not have a regular high limit, no limit game. Mo has
Right.
gotten here and has brought the players here
Right.
and kind of maintains these games, keep the players happy.
C5 here is raised to 150 with ace-queen.
Is Allen going to get involved with Queen 3? No, he's
No.
not heads up. He doesn't want to call.
He did tip him.
And C5, Raheem is going to take it down. Now, Mo's actually been kind of a pro player. He used to actually be almost exclusively a tournament player a couple of years back, Dave. But he's been a pro player for a while. Actually, he told me that he was actually a prop years back at a different casino as well. And now he's really, worked his way into just playing exclusively no limit hold'em cash.
Yeah, he said he started playing Limit Hold'em. Then his favorite game used to be Pot Limit Omaha High.
Right.
He loved that game. And obviously, like you said, now he plays almost exclusively No Limit Hold'em.
Interesting background about Pot Limit Omaha High. That really, what I've heard is, is from what the basis of running the cards multiple times, where that comes from. When you get all the money in Pot Limit Omaha, usually you're not a big favorite either way. So it's kind of a crapshoot as to where a lot of the money goes. So oftentimes they will run the cards multiple times, and a lot more of the time, most of the money goes in a Pot Limit Omaha game than it does
Right,
in a
obviously,
limit
when
game.
each player has 4 cards, one guy's got top set, the other guy's got to wrap around with a flush draw.
Redraws, right. Yeah.
Who knows?
Limped around here, and everybody's in the pot pretty much, except for one player. Queen?
2 pair for George
Wow, look at
W.
those cards go up.
Oh, my.
Wow, Queen
Oh.
Jack for George Y here.
I thought for a second Mo had actually flopped a set of 3s, but
No.
there's actually a deuce out there.
And George Y checked it from up front.
And look at this in George in seat 6. The Greek poker god is open-ended.
And Mo is going to bet 200 with pocket 3s, thinking that, maybe he can take it down. Everybody's weak.
And the interesting thing is now is,
And George Y just calls, Dave.
wow, and he's really asking for it here.
And Allen calls behind him with the gut shot to the king. George is going to call. Boy, I can't believe the Queen Jack is
And then a
still
lot of
playing
cards here. A 9, a king,
Wow.
or an ace would bring it straight for these guys.
How about
or
a club
3.
as an action killer? Turns a 9.
There it is.
There it is. George, the Greek poker god, has got George Y here.
Hey, he's got the absolute nuts right now.
And is George Y going to lose a lot of money with this hand? Was he waiting for this card to check raise the turn?
I think he might have been.
Wow.
And you got to think of all the cards that would have killed his hand. An ace, a king, a 9, or a 3 would have killed his hand.
And look at George Georgian bet big here with the nuts. He knows how coordinated the board here is. He doesn't want to see another card either with king 10.
He thinks there's a good chance that somebody's got clubs.
Right.
He thinks there's probably a good chance somebody's got a queen.
Dave, he's bet $2,000 into about $1,000 pot here. A gross overbet. He does not want to see a river card.
Why? I don't understand that. Why betting so much? 2,000 into 1,000. I've got to ask him why he's betting so much. Now I know George Wine doesn't have that much money, but why not bet 1,000?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like
It might only be maybe 15 or 16. but
Okay, well,
still,
that makes a little bit more
Yeah.
sense. Okay, there you go. So it's
And
actually
George
16.
Wide gets away from it. Well,
Wow.
there you go.
I mean, you got to specifically put somebody on king 10 there,
Yeah.
huh?
And Allen's going to do a little play with his chips here. Well, actually, Allen's open-ended with an overcard. That 10 makes him open-ended, but he's not going to play with one card to
That
go.
though.
Yep.
George takes it down there. Okay, that makes a little more sense. The pot was more like 1,100. He bet like 1,500.
Right.
Okay.
Interesting, we have another email here from Howard from Houston asking what a straddle is. I think we get more emails about the straddle, more so than we do about running the cards multiple times. Maybe that's something that we can put up on the website. Oh, it is on there. And if you go to liveatthebike.com, spelled out, click over on the left-hand part of your screen under
As seen on Live at the Bike.
as seen as on Live at the Bike, they will give you a definition of
Of all
straddle.
those things.
There you go.
Not even a regional.
Hope that helps you out.
Nobody does it for
Check
wow,
it out.
really interesting.
Yeah.
You're hot, you're hot.
I know George actually, Greek Poker is actually going to watch that, and he's going to be sitting there going, I didn't bet 2,000. What are these guys talking about? And obviously, once we got the correct numbers in there, it makes a lot more sense. Because obviously, betting $2,000 into a $1,000 pot when you've got the absolute nuts right
Right.
why wouldn't you want to call?
Mike is going to raise here with Queen Jack offsuit. He's playing 2,000 behind. Allen's going to call with Ace 9. C5 is in there with King 6 of diamonds, and George is in there with Deuce 3 offsuit. Four-way action here.
You hit your king 10? Right now, you mean?
10, 7, 6 here.
You hit your king 10?
And does Raheem have the best hand here with King 6? Looks like
I
it.
think you're right.
See if Mike throws a bet out here, if he's just going to take a card. He takes a card here.
And look at George. Greek Poker actually told George Y in seat 9 that he had King 10 last hand.
I figured someone.
Turns a deuce. That gives George a pair. Let's see if Raheem leads now with King 6. Looks like he's going to, and he does. He bets 300 here. And I think that's going to be enough to take it down here.
If I raise on the flop, you call anyway.
Yeah, drop 2 last time.
Allen's going to lay down the Ace 9.
Interesting. 2+2 post by Baron Vanger something. Hey guys, I see more episodes these days than not. So my mistake in order to Mike usually sit in seat 4 and Allen in seat 9. Yeah, you're 100% correct there. I guess these players just mixed it up tonight a little.
And another post by XPogoX. Cops is the original reality TV show, and it's still the best show on TV. And that is true. Cops, I don't know about the best show on TV, but it is the original reality show.
Well, at least it's reality.
Yeah, it definitely is. And that came out in, what, 1989, 1990? I remember watching it. I used to piss my pants when I was a little kid in 1988, 89, America's Most Wanted, and Cops on Sunday nights. You know, America's Most Wanted, that guy, what's his name again? I can't remember the guy's name who hosts it. He's like, you have a 1 in 106 chance of being murdered. Now remember, this was back in the time, the early 90s, when crime in this country was a lot bigger than what it was now. In the, the crack, huge crack age, late 80s, early 90s.
Did you grow up in a crack den, Bart?
Oh yeah,
You
right.
have to worry about it? Yeah.
I love them.
Six-way action here, limped around. King, Jack, 3, Rainbow.
No king, but there is a jack out there. Ramsey's got the best hand with Jack 4. Mike's got bottom pair, and he's going to bet it.
Looks like he throws out 8 chips, which is $80. Ace 3.
And Raheem is.
Wow, Raheem's going to call with a gut shot to the queen. He's got overcards, though, as well.
Yeah, but how does he know if it's good or not?
Here we go to the turn. Turns a 6, no help for Raheem. And Mike checks right behind him. And the river here's a 9.
And I want to see Mike.
Mike is going to be pissed off when he sees this.
Yeah, I want to see this face.
Look at George. Look at George laugh.
That's hysterical.
It's so funny how these guys that are accustomed to our show who play a lot of cash games are now playing against these tournament guys that they don't know all that well, and they're like, oh.
This time
Well, it's funny, you know what? A lot of these players, they just assume that their way is the right way,
Right.
and everybody else's way is the wrong way. You know, and sometimes you and I actually get caught up in that too. We watch this,
Right.
and we kind of preach our way of playing. And obviously, there's a million different ways to play poker. So obviously, you know, hey, different strokes for different folks.
You put 2 in the bed, the other one is stay away.
And Raheem has taken a little part of like Alan's mantra. He's or Alan's MO. He's kind of just kind of making comments every time he wins a hand to Mike.
Well, he's showing bluffs. I mean, I think he likes getting under Mike's goat there. I think that's the reason he called him with 9-10. I don't think he called to hit. I mean, I think if somebody else bets, he probably throws away 9-10.
George raised it up here with pocket 10s.
All right, take it.
Yeah, see, and he doesn't. He might have called. He might have called Mike there.
If you lose, then you're gonna get pissed off. 7 deuce. Let me just live my life. My hand is better than you. This is suited.
And they're really on him there.
Happen to my good blind. Take it. Be happy.
Bud moves over here to seat number 3. That's Ramsey. Live straddle by Mike. And I think Mike is still steaming here, Dave. Trish limps in here with ace-9. Now, Mike has ace-8 offsuit. Is he going to raise it out of the straddle spot here? Yes, he is. He makes it 200 more to go. And now Trish isn't laying this one down to Mike here. She makes the call. Now, seat 5, he's got a hand I like. He's got 6-4 of diamonds. Against these 2 other hands, we're going to see this one 3 ways.
Yeah, why not?
George is not in the hand, and here we go. About $700 pre-flop. 6, 8, 7, and Mike's got top pair, but Trish is open-ended here.
Right.
And Raheem's got bottom pair. With
Backdoor diamonds.
the bottom end of a gut shot as well to the 5, which would be no good.
Right.
And Mike bets. He bets 500. See if Trish raises with the draw now. She's just going to call. And Raheem makes the call as well. And
Wow.
we've got quickly a $2,200 pot.
And none of these hands are that good.
Going
folks.
3 ways. The turn's a jack, no help. Mike still has the best hand. Pot is $2,200 here. How much do you bet to protect now?
Well, the interesting thing is,
He's going to move all in.
I like the bet here by Mike. He just doesn't think anybody else has got 2 pair or a set because the board is so scary.
Yeah.
The only hand that somebody might have is specifically 9-10.
Looks like it's, I think he said 1,600. So the
Wow.
pot now is about 4,000, 1,600 to call.
And if Raheem calls here, he's in bad shape here. He's going to either 5, a 4, or a 6.
Can you imagine if he calls and hits it, though? Oh, my.
Man, well, the pot is now, what, $4,000?
1,600 to call.
Man, getting about a little bit over 2 to 1 on his money.
And as you can see from the card graphics, he definitely does not have odds
Yeah,
to
he's
call.
actually getting about 2.5 to 1 on his money. Obviously, that's not enough.
Well, he thinks it might have high cards. You might think he's ahead right now.
Well, what if he puts Mike on a 9? You know, what if he puts him on ace-9? What if he puts him on his mom's hand? You know, any 6, any 5, or any 4 will give Raheem this hand. Getting 2.5 to 1 on the
And
money.
this might be one of these cases where you might not be getting the correct odds, but you might be getting implied tilt odds, Dave, if you hit the hand.
Well, if Raheem knows Mike and knows that Mike will rebuy for another $5,000,
Right.
it might be worth it.
Implied tilt odds.
I mean, it's something we talk about all the time. Would you take a negative EV spot? Do you take a negative EV
This will really be
temporarily
something.
to positive for a positive EV later on? And I didn't say this, but Ronnie thinks
And he makes the call here, Dave.
Wow, the
He's
pot
a
is-
4, 6, or a 5. Over a $5,000 pot. Oh, the river's a deuce.
Were you rooting for him?
Nice pick.
No, I was just trying
That's
to build
evil.
it up. I was just trying to build it up.
Even I saw like a letdown there. I really saw like almost like a little bit of a letdown when the goose came.
No, I wasn't rooting for him.
$5,600 pot Mike takes
nice,
down with ace-8
nice
there.
pot there from Mike.
You gotta do something.
Look at that. Ace-8, he takes down $5,600. And we always talk about this. How did he win that big pot with ace-8? He built it.
Right.
That's how he built it. He raised pre-flop, got called in 2 spots. Then he got 500 on the flop, got called in 2 spots. Then he moves all in and gets called by an inferior hand.
Yeah.
So I said, well, if you hit it,
Mike is now the big blind here. And we really would have seen something if that guy had hit that card on the end.
Oh, no,
man.
Mike would have blown up.
Yeah.
We
2
didn't
pair.
know.
Oh, he would have blown up.
Yeah.
Trips,
Yeah.
straight, any of that.
nice inside on the outside on me.
Wow.
Good heart. Good temper.
Limped around here.
You should see his dad.
5 ways.
He's bad.
Queen, Jack, Deuce. A couple people have jacks here. Jack 9 for seat 1, Jack 6 for seat 6. Gets checked around. Turns a 4.
Why doesn't change anything?
George Y still has the best hand over there in seat 9. He's going to throw a $120 bet out here.
That'll probably be enough to take it down. We got an interesting email there from Zagda. And from Richard here. Says, fellas, hey, what's your favorite semi-bluff situation? He says specific to time in a hand or cards you might play. He says, love the show. He's a local and he's watching and he's playing a little tournament in Covina. But what is your favorite semi-bluff situation?
Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of a... Well, I mean, I like semi-bluffing with a lot of outs where I'm a favorite over 1 pair with 2 cards to come. Like
Yeah, of
putting all
course.
my money in there with an open-ended straight and flush draw.
I mean, obviously,
You know?
there's a million answers to this question.
Yeah.
I'll throw one at you. One of my favorite times to semi-bluff is when I'm playing a player who is capable of laying down a big hand.
Right.
So I've got a lot of fold equity in there.
Ed limps in with pocket kings here, Dave. Might be trying to go for the limp re-raise, but I don't think he's going to get it from what we see out there.
No, short of Mike, nobody else is really playing it that crazy.
George might have ace-jack here. I can't quite tell. I think he does, and he's going to raise. No, he's got jack 4, and he raised. He raises to 240 with jack 4 off suit.
I mean, the only thing I'm not sure about, I understand raising on the button. I have no problem with that, but I like to raise with hands that are somewhat connected.
Right.
Raise with 6-4. Raise with Jack 10.
Let's see what if Ed's going to pull the limp re-raise here. I mean,
Jack 4 offsuit. I mean, that's not even a hand I want to be in the pot.
is he
at
going
all.
to play cagey, thinking that everyone's going to fold behind him? No, it looks like he's going to pull the limp re-raise.
Look at that. 5 more, and he's going to win this hands down right now.
George immediately folds. He does
Yeah,
not take any
easy lay
time
down,
with it.
especially from that player.
Yep.
But obviously, there's a million different times to semi-bluff, but that's one of mine. Obviously, I don't want to semi-bluff somebody who's never going to fold because there's no fold equity there.
You're not nice guy.
Another email here. George's conversation when he told George Y that he had king 10, and George Y asked him if he check raised the flop to 500, did George G say that he would have called? I didn't hear if he said he would have called. I would imagine he probably would have, right, on rainbow board. Was it rainbow board? No, there were 2 clubs out there.
Yeah,
right?
knowing the Greek poker god, I mean, George usually doesn't like to
Go for a draw with 2 flush out there.
yeah, especially for a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because he knows that if he doesn't hit it on the turn, he's going to be faced with a big bet on the turn.
Trish is going to raise here with pocket 10s to 80. Ed's got ace-king suited. He makes a smooth call on C2.
Yeah, I think George Y knows, obviously, George Y with the queen jack there in seat 9. I think he knows that he obviously misplayed that hand when he flopped 2 pair.
Seat 5 calls with queen 10 of spades. Remember, Trish is the pre-flop raiser. Mo's in there with 9-10 off suit.
Tell him, George. Tell me, Gav.
One pot with ace 8, what are you going to do?
No, I'm not teasing you. I want you to play your hand.
John Walsh. There we go.
There you go. Oh, yeah, that's the guy whose son got kidnapped, right?
Right.
When he was like 9 years old, yeah.
Jack 9 in there from seat 9, and he's flopped top pair. George Y has the best hand right now. It's a $400 pot, and Mo's going to come out and bet with a gut shot. Picking his spots here, Dave. It's going to make a little semi-bluff into a 2
It
flush
really
board.
puts George Y in a tough spot because he's next to Ack.
And he folds.
Yeah, with 3 players yet to Ack, can you call with Jack 9? I mean, I might just
And
let
look
it
at
down
Trish. Trish is facing 1 overcard. Is she going to get involved with Mo? You know, when Mo plays it so solidly the entire night, wow, and she's going to raise here. Well, you know, she might be trying to represent an overpair and maybe get Mo off of a jack. Now, we know that Mo doesn't have anything, and Mo's going to be done with his hand here.
Well, it depends how much money she puts in. He might have the odds to go for it.
Well, she raises to... Well, she's got a lot of money behind, and again, you might say, it's only 220 more. So you figure if she's got an overpair and Mo spikes an 8 here, can he also represent clubs, right?
Right. He is in position, by the way.
No, he's not.
actually.
He's out of
But
position.
He's in first act.
He's not going to get involved.
Now, if he was on the button, he might have called. But being out of position, I think it's an easy laydown.
Yeah.
About what you do.
Got about 30 minutes left in tonight's show. If you want to email us, you can email us at live@thebike.com.
Yeah, I'm upset too.
Try to keep the show as interactive as possible. Man, that is a bright red shirt.
Corporation Mike has temporarily gotten up from the table here.
People always ask those kind of questions, though. Let's say, you suck out, you get a flush draw, and you always say, hey, man, would have you called if I moved all in? And I don't know. Do it, then I'll figure it out next time. I have no idea.
Gonna take a look at the chip count here.
Well, up to $37,000 on this table, folks.
Let's take a look at how these players are doing now.
You got to say, seat 2 is probably the big winner now, right?
Well, Ed is creeping up, but Raheem looks to still be up there.
Wow, look at that.
Even after that $1,600 call. Wow. George is still behind. Queen 7-7 here on the flop. Now, C2's got King Queen, but George Y has trip 7s, and now he comes out and leads and bets. He bets 70, and actually it's Ed who's got the King Queen. He makes the call. And playing 3 7s this way will probably make you more money, because Ed might call the whole way now.
Exactly.
Turns a 10,
Well,
and now Ed's
Ed's
picking up a flush draw. And look at this. George checked it, and Ed's going to bet. And you'd imagine that George is probably going to check raise, and he does.
I like the way George played this hand. He really played it like he had a weak queen.
Let me tell you this, though. If you're Ed here and you get bet, let out in the flop, and you call, and the turn comes, gives you a draw, might you check the turn and take a card there? He didn't want to get check raised by 3 7s. Well, he makes the call. The river's an ace.
You might, but only if you know he has 3 7s. I mean, if you know he has 3 7s, yeah.
And he's going to bet again here. He's going to bet 600, but Ed is not going to pay him off.
I don't really dislike the way Ed played that hand. I mean, obviously, you can definitely can take the free card. But there are 2 spades out there. What is if your opponent has spades? And a spade comes up and you let him get there for nothing.
Giving him 10 to 1. Yeah, we get 10 to 1 or 2 to 1 pot call.
How many you can talk to so far?
You ever watch this game really?
Once in a while I do. Sometimes I do. Yeah.
Button moves over to seat 9. That's George White. Small blind is Trish. Big blind is Ed. And under the gun is Ramsey. Alan's actually gotten up for a second.
You what? You beat me, right?
Ramsey's got pocket 9s in first position. I always find it curious how a good player plays pocket 9s from up front.
Well, he limped in.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I might limp in the first couple positions with 10s and below.
Yeah.
And I've seen you limp in with jacks a lot, too.
Yeah. Well, it puts you in a tough spot if you raise with 9s and you get called in 2 spots.
Yeah.
How do you know where you're at?
Mike raises here. Now, would it ever be in the realm of possibility that Ramsey might pull the limp re-raise here with 9s when Mike raises? No, he doesn't. He's just going to call.
Well, it's 2 different ways to play it. I mean, you can raise him, try to take the dead money down right there, or you can play it slow and see if you can win a big pot.
$400 pot. Mike, the pre-flop raiser with King 10. He flops an open-ended straight draw.
The problem with 9s now is you see a flop like that, your hand is still good, but you have no idea.
Wow, Mike did not bet with the semi-bluff. If he did bet, he probably would have taken it down there. No one has anything. The turn's a queen.
Well, Ramsey's got to know he's probably good now, unless somebody's got a weak jack.
See if Ramsey leads out now with 9s. Check, check. And now Mike's going to take a card again. And now George Y's going to bet with pocket 5s.
How much is in the pot? I raised, 80 times 5.
And Ramsey just gets away from 9s.
Yeah, it's just too easy for one of his opponents to have a jack there. I don't think he puts anybody on a queen, but it's too easy for somebody to have a weak jack, jack 10, jack 9.
Pot was $600 after that bet, and Mike's going to call, so it's now an $800 pot.
And he's got a lot of outs, an ace, a king, a 10, or a 9.
Let's see if he bluffs at the river if he misses, Dave. And the river's an ace, and he makes it. And he's going to come and bet. He bets 500
And I love
here.
the bet here because
Aces and queens with a jack.
if your opponent had, say, clubs, and he missed,
Right.
wouldn't Mike have bet anyway?
Imagine if George White had checked a weak queen on the flop and then the turn brought him trips, and now Mike bets in with an ace. You might even raise in this spot with 3 queens.
Yeah, you're putting a tough spot here.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, would Mike bet an ace? It just doesn't make any sense.
Right, like
I
you
don't
often
think Mike.
say. Yeah.
Let's say Mike had, say, ace-5 of clubs, right?
Right.
And he made the ace. He probably checks it down.
I always think that wouldn't Mike have bet the flop with ace-5 of clubs? Wouldn't Mike have bet the flop with king-10? He never did either time.
Right, you'd think he would. So you go,
Right.
okay, well, he probably doesn't have an ace-high flush. He probably doesn't have...
Or he doesn't have an ace, you mean, like ace-5 of clubs and busted clubs hit back into an ace.
You might put him on a set of jacks. I mean, the way he's played his hands. Right?
It's an odd way that the hand move played out. I mean, George can only beat a stone-cold bluff. I mean, Mike's not crazy. What is he going to call the turn with?
Well,
Nothing?
I've seen Mike do that. I've seen Mike call with nothing to set up a bluff. I mean, once in a while, Mike will do that. He'll play it kind of slow like that as draws, and he gets
and
called.
he makes the call.
I think Mike talked him into it.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what Mike said there.
He said, don't do any Hollywood stuff. If you raise, I'll muck. That's what he said. Wow. And that's Mike's strat and Mike's image right there. Got that guy to call with pocket fives, Dave.
Well, that's, if you bet or I bet or Georgian bets in seat six,
Right.
we'll never get paid off there. Fives are never going to pay us up there. But Mike does get paid off. The value of being kind of the appearance of being a crazy gambler.
Right. Got about a half an hour left in the show. I didn't, it seems like there's some spur of discussion and debate about what is Asia, what is Europe on 2+2 going on right now.
Hey, that's what we do here at Live at the Bike.
Right.
Okay, we don't just talk about poker. We throw like NCAA tournament in there. We throw a little Chelsea soccer, a little dose of Syracuse, a little bit of Asia. Hey.
I'll throw in the fact that I'm still a little bit bitter because I was such a big UMass fan back in the high school days that George Washington literally got spit in their face with their seedings in the bracket this year, Dave. I mean, yeah, they lost in the quarters in the A10 tournament, but they were like 23-2, and they got an 8 seed.
They beat nobody. They lost in the A10. Who's in the A10 right now these days?
I was 6.
There's nobody there. You lose in the quarters of the Atlantic 10. They barely deserve to be in the tournament.
Back in 1996, it was better than Big East.
That's
1, 2,
good.
3,
That was
4, 5,
1996.
6
Man.
action.
Talk about old school Hanson here, huh?
Queen Jack 3 with a couple hearts. Mo's not in the hand.
Talk about heavy B here, living in the past.
Back in the good old UMass John Calipari days, another interesting thing that happened in the A10, John Chaney retired today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
A couple of years too late.
Turns a queen. If ever anyone remembers that 94 press conference when Chaney went ballistic on Calipari at one of the games.
Yeah,
He said, I'll kill you, I'll kill you.
And look at this. Ace high is the best hand, I want to say?
Yeah, Ramsey's
The
got the best
sixes have
hand.
gotten killed.
Sevens.
And sixes.
6s and 7s
Yeah.
both got killed.
Both of them are garbage now.
But look at this. Ed actually has queen 3. He flopped 2 pair, Dave. We didn't have it out.
Okay, there you
He
go.
checked it. He filled up on the turn. He checked it, and now he's going to bet. He built himself no pot whatsoever. And Ramsey's trying to figure out if he's going to call here or so many people to act
Well,
after.
that's the way to win a real pot. Just check it 2 times.
Right.
And then when nobody has anything, then you bet it and you really hope they get paid off.
Flop 2 pair on a somewhat coordinated board, checked it. Turn was a queen, checked it again. And now he's got a full house, and he shows the 3. Like I said, we got a slow player at the table.
I gotta tell you, I love playing against players that slow play.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh good, maybe a slow play, let me get the nuts, and then I can get all your
Right.
money. Man. Yeah, I was actually, like I said, I was a little disappointed. I mean, Syracuse, I was actually, wow, I couldn't believe they got a 5 seed. You know how much of a
that was
diehard
crazy.
Syracuse fan I am, obviously. But, hey, they swept through and they win the Big East tournament. The Big East is probably the toughest conference in the country right now. They win that tournament, get a 5 seed. I think they play Texas A&M in the first round. But I was actually a little disappointed. I'm a big Albany fan, SUNY Albany. And they made their first appearance, and they've got to play UConn. I mean, they're barely even going to be in it.
Do you remember what the America East was called before it was called the America East? Anyone out there? Anyone? College
Patriots
basketball? No, not the Patriot League. That's a different conference with Holy Cross in it. Limped around here, ace 8-6 with a couple spades. See if anyone's a college basketball guru can tell me that.
MAAC?
$280 bet here by Mike with bottom pair. Is Ed going to get involved with ace 4? No, he's not.
ECAC?
No, that's D3 hockey. That's definitely D3 ECAC something like that. But no, it's a conference name that's no longer around. We used to have BU, Northeastern, Harvard, Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire. I think that Albany might have been in before, but maybe not.
No, Albany's only been D1 for 7 years.
Okay. Yeah, that's when it happened, when the America East became a new conference.
Actually, this is the first year in Albany's existence they've actually over 500. I actually went to their game. They came out here and played UCLA, and I went and watched it.
Wow. They get killed?
No, they were actually beating UCLA with 6 minutes left in the game, and they only lost by 8.
Ace King for seat 2, Ace Queen for Allen in seat 4.
SUNY Albany, baby.
And look at this, seat 2 is going to bring it in for a raise with Ace King. Allen's just going to call. Now, have you ever seen Allen come over the top of anyone with Ace King or Ace Queen pre-flop? Usually he only does that with pocket pairs.
Oh, lately he's been doing it like a nut. He's been moving all in with Ace Queen.
Well, that was a little bit different against you that time, but I'm talking about when he's relatively deep stacked.
Well, usually he just calls.
And he had called the all-in.
He had $2,700 against me. Sorry. He had $2,700.
Look at this. Seat number 9 is going to raise here. Is that right? He raises 400 more with 9-3 suited. Unbelievable. He's going to pull the limp re-raise, Dave, representing a big hand with 9-3 suited, and Allen's going to call off all his chips again with Ace Queen.
He's moving all in. He's actually going to move all in. And I don't know. Now, this is the question. Is George Y. Pot committed? I mean, I wonder, is George Y. Pot committed? Okay, now this is the question here. Allen has $1,200. The pot is now about $1,800, $800 to call. So you have to call with George if you're George Y. The pot is $1,800, and it's 8 more to call, folks. I'm sorry, 7 more to call.
And he makes the call. He's going to make the call.
I think he has to.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about maybe he's got live cards.
And he does. He has live cards. I mean, he's getting, I want to say he's getting 2.5 to 1 on
This
his
is
money.
unbelievable. Now, George Y hasn't shown his hand yet, but if he hits his hand, he's going to have to show it. Let's see. Well, no help there. Now Allen's got the Ace Queen. He's going to need to catch running cards.
Yeah.
Ace King, right? That is so sick.
Oh, wow.
He's got a heart draw, but Allen's got a
Look at
higher
the
heart
straight,
draw.
though.
On the river here is an ace. Now, he has not shown. Look at this. He said you have Ace King, right? And now he shows 9-3 of hearts. Because Corporation Mike had said, wow, he had a flush draw and an open-ended straight draw on the turn. And George Y tried to make a move with 9-3 of hearts, Dave, but it did not work. Wow.
You know the amazing thing? Now, this is one of the few times, because I'm always an advocate. You always point out that somebody made a bad play, and I go, what do you mean it's a bad play? It worked. But I'm going to just throw this out at you, Bart. Okay, I know Allen made the correct call, so to speak, because I guess he moved in with, what was it, superior hand. But is there any way his hand should have been good there?
No.
I mean, George Y, the way he's played tonight?
Of course not.
I mean, George Y should have had kings, right?
Right.
I mean, that's why it amazed me. I want to say a week and a half ago when I played on the show, and I moved all in with pocket 8s. I could not believe that Allen actually called me.
Look at this. George Y moves immediately all in, looking like he's trying to steam off. And look at George and he's going to call with Jack 10 of diamonds here. And he's not that big of an underdog.
No, he's not at all. This is probably about 55-45. Or actually, not even. Probably more like 52-48.
But George Y actually has an okay hand, and he is favored against George Georgian, but he might have just steamed off all his chips here. There we go to the flop. Well, George is open-ended with overcards.
Yeah, now he's a favorite.
Turns the king. Now he's picked up a diamond draw, and he misses everything.
Oh, man.
A jack, a 10, a diamond.
And look at that. He's just sick.
Yeah.
It's like, man, any card. The whole deck was his.
A queen would have been good. A queen, a diamond, a 9, an ace, a jack, or a 10. A ton of outs on the turn.
I mean, can you count those? Actually, I'm trying to think here. So 3 jacks, 3 10s. Okay? 4 9s, 4 aces.
Right.
So that's 14, right?
And then 7 more flush outs
That's
because you already
21.
21.
And then plus 3 more queens. So 24 outs with 1 card to go.
That is pretty much as big. I remember having this discussion a couple weeks ago. When you have an open-ended straight draw with a flush draw with overcards on a paired counterfeitable board, you have the most outs with 1 card to come. It's almost 50-50 with 1 card to come.
Actually, I want to say he was a favorite. There was, well, you think 2 cards is 44 unseen cards,
Right.
24 of which were George's, only 20 of which were George Y's.
And now seat 9's going to move all in with pocket 9s. Mo and Mike both have ace-jack. And if they knew that they both had ace-jack,
Yeah, and Mike is going to call, and I imagine Mo is going to throw this away.
and pocket nines are in good shape here again. I think we got pocket nines over there for seat number 9. Let's call it two
If you got a pair of
black nines, maybe?
No.
9 of diamonds, 9 of spades.
There you go.
And Mo hasn't folded yet either.
Well, I think once Mike calls, can you call if you're Mo?
And if this guy wins this one, he would have just tripled up over the last 3 hands or so.
Well, you think about it. If he wins this one, suddenly he's got $1,600.
Oh, I think it's more than that, isn't it? I think
Well, I only
he's
see
all in
800.
for what?
I see 800 in front of.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
It's all in for 7. And Mo's thinking about calling as well here. You know, Mo might even re-raise to isolate, Dave. That's a move that he might do. And Mo's going to give action.
Well, you know what? If you're George, you love that action. There's already one ace-jack in there. Why not have 2 of them in there?
Yeah, well, he can't know that. They might just check it down here on the side. You never know. Betting into a dry side pot. Mo and Mike both on the side with ace-jack. Well, they both miss.
Yeah, and George is in great shape here. George is going to triple up here, folks.
Check, check. Oh, the turn's a 9.
But it's a club.
Yeah,
and
Mo
both have
could
ace
catch
clubs.
the ace of clubs, but the river's a 7, and George is going to triple through with a set of 9s.
He's got about 2,400 now.
Unbelievable.
What a roller coaster, folks.
Wow. It's like a tournament, Dave.
What a roller coaster.
Jeez.
Hey, now, this is kind of evidence. Now, George has kind of played it like a tournament. But if you're ever in a tournament and you're down to your last couple of chips, don't despair. Remember the tale of George Y. Okay? I mean, you look at this. George Y basically tried to give his money away with 9-3 of hearts. Had just maybe 150 left.
Right.
I'm sorry, about 300 left. Doubled up. Now he's tripled up, and now he's got close to 2,500.
He was a 1-card underdog when he was in the lead on the turn. How often does that happen? Against a straight and a flush draw with overcards on a paired board.
Yeah, in Hold'em, very
Yeah.
rarely can you be behind on the turn with 1 card to come and be a 60-40 favorite.
Right. You may not have the best hand at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
150.
Seat 5's going to raise to 150 with Queen 9 of hearts. Look at George in there with 9-4 of clubs and Mike in there with 6-4 of diamonds.
Wait, George Y's not playing the hand? What's he doing?
Two
No.
of my favorite customers.
Wow, 6, 8, 10 here. Raheem checks the straight draw. Well, he's going to bet 300, excuse me. Now, George has the same gut shot here. He's not going to get involved. And Mike is going to call here with bottom pair out of position. It's about a $900 pot to the turn here. Turns a
And you
king.
see Raheem was actually a favorite on the flop.
Wow, if Raheem had bet that turn, he probably would have taken it down. The river's a 4, and now Mike makes 2 pair, and he comes up and bets. He bets 500 here. You know, oftentimes you can use an overcard as a scare card. I mean, if Raheem put a bet there on the turn, you think Mike's going to call bottom pair there?
Yeah, probably not. Just too many cards you can't beat. I mean, if the guy had a king-high flush draw, you can't even beat that
Yeah.
anymore.
I think Mike showed him the 4.
Well, the 4 was good, so.
It was a straight and flush draw.
I figure ace, queen.
No, I had the 9 queens suited. When it comes out,
Man.
I needed 7.
Looks like somebody went to, what is that called? Wikipedia to get that answer?
Oh, look at that.
North Atlantic Conference. That's what I was looking for.
Hey, it was used, and before that, it was known as the ECAC
Yeah, but
North.
Yeah, but the ECAC was not a D1 school. That was where Albany came from. It wasn't D1. North Atlantic was the D1. That was the question. That was the D1.
Yeah, but Albany wasn't part of the North Atlantic Conference.
Yeah, they were part of the ECAC, right? That's what I'm saying. The ECAC wasn't D1.
Albany, no, the Albany was actually part of the Metropolitan Athletic Conference, I believe. NAAC, I want to say.
The MEAC.
Yeah, something like
Man,
that.
he's going to raise here with
Division
Queens.
3 basketball until 1997
Or
I think?
D2 or something.
Or 98.
Ramsey raises it up with Queens, and he's going to take it down. You know, basketball is kind of a cool sport in the fact that there is no subdivision of Division 1. You know, in football,
Right.
there's a 1 and a 1 AA.
Right.
But in basketball, all the D1 schools have a chance to make it to the tournament.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, that's what makes it so amazing. I mean, the fact that a school like Albany or a school like Belmont, I mean, Albany is going to play UConn. I mean, it's just amazing when you see that kind of, those kind of games going on.
I actually remember when Boston University played UConn. I want to say it was in the year that UConn made that incredible run in '91.
Yeah.
When they won by the last second shot and then they lost by the last second shot against Duke, I think.
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah, they had played BU in '91, 16 against a 1 seed from the North Atlantic Conference
Well, no
against the Big
16,
East Conference.
no 16 has ever beaten a 1. 40. Closest ever was Princeton versus Georgetown. 50 to 49 game.
Mo's going to raise it up here on the button at 300.
Was it Princeton or Penn?
King, queen offsuit.
Now maybe.
Now, Ed mucked ace jack of diamonds pretty easily. George has got a suited connector. He's going to take it heads up against Mo. I don't know if I would take that hand heads up against Mo. And we're heads up. Wow, Mo's got trip kings.
Yeah, George is in bad shape here, folks.
And it went check, check. Turns an ace.
George is drawing dead.
Again, I don't necessarily buy that when Mo checks it, and now he's going to bet.
You re-raised me on a move, didn't you?
And Mo takes it down.
Yeah, look. And Mike is right on with the leads, huh?
Well, supposedly, you know, I was watching a little bit of that bracketology on ESPN, or it might have been said on CBS that, and one of the guys, I forget his name, one of the commentators said that Oral Roberts this year is actually the best 16 seed that's ever been around. He's not saying that they're going to beat the number 1 seed, and I don't know who they're playing. Kansas or something? No, not Kansas. Who's the number 1 seed out there in the Midwest?
I don't know.
No, off the top
Ohio
of my
State?
head.
Memphis? I don't know. I forgot. Actually, I haven't really looked at my brackets yet.
160.
$160 raise by Ace King of Diamonds here in seat 5.
We should put the brackets on Live at the Bike. We should.
Mike
Whoever
Hoffman.
gets all 64, all 63 right,
Right.
gets a prize.
Yeah, that's a nice prize. Seeing as usually how ESPN.com does it, and if you do that, you win $1 million. It hasn't been done like in 10 years.
We're off from like $20.
Ace King of Diamonds against 6-9 of Diamonds. Raheem hits top pair.
Yes, 2 players.
Yeah, Mike's hand is not good here.
And look at this. Raheem checks it. And Mike doesn't fall for it. He checks right behind him. Turns an 8.
Now, how about a check again by Raheem? And sure enough, Mike's going to bet.
Yep. Bets 300.
And that's some of the things you can do in No Limit. You'd never see that play in Limit Hold'em. But in No Limit, you can kind of induce a bluff.
And Raheem check raises to 900. Or 800 more. Yeah.
And Raheem made $300 he never would have made.
I think that shouldn't depend.
Got a question here by John Kraus talking about overcall. He says, what do you mean by an overcall? What is that, John? John, I said, thanks for the email, John. Appreciate it.
That you don't bet it.
Go ahead, Bart.
That was my
Well, an
reason.
overcall usually means that you are calling after someone has called in between. And it usually indicates that your hand is going to have to be even better than if you're just going to call someone heads up. Because now you have to beat 2 people, right?
Right. Exactly. Oftentimes we'll
So
say,
you're not going to normally overcall with a weak hand because you've got to beat 2 people.
right, oftentimes you can say, well, I think he's bluffing, but the odds are that both players aren't bluffing,
Yeah.
especially if somebody's called. Generally, if somebody's calling somebody else, their hand is good enough to
Right.
stand on its own. And you're saying by calling, you can beat that hand also. Hope that makes sense.
I have an interesting little story about that, something that happened to me this afternoon. Limped around here. Sykes has posted up that King, Queen of Diamonds there, excuse me, Jack 10 of Diamonds against Pocket 8s, again, George against George Y. George G was actually a 52% favorite with 1 card to come.
Wow.
10-7-5 here with a couple of hearts.
Well, Ramsey's got top pair. Seat 3, and that's Ramsey. He's going to bet it. Rarely do players want to give him action. See how few hands he plays.
And Mo raises. Mo's got 6-4. He's got a straight draw. He's open-ended. Playing the player here, trying to raise Ramsey.
Exactly.
Now, Ramsey does not have a straight draw, just a weak 10, and that's going to work. There you go.
Yep. He doesn't want to get involved.
You know, it's funny, Dave. There was a little story on ESPN one time about the best hand I ever played. Joel Brunson was talking about how he actually called a guy who he thought was bluffing when there were 3 people in the hand. The guy who he thought was bluffing bet out first. Doyle called with Jack high because he specifically put the guy on a straight draw, 8-9, that was missed.
Right.
By him calling, another guy who he thought had a weak top pair could not overcall because Doyle had called in between. Got the guy to throw away the hand and won with Jack high. I actually had the same type of thing happen to me in a game with people know John Huang, the aggressive tournament player. I was in the middle. I'd raised pre-flop with 7s, and the flop came queen high. I bet 2 people called me. It went checked around the turn. The river brought kind of a blank card, and John Huang came out and bet. And I knew this guy behind me had me beat, but I mucked it. He called, and I knew John was bluffing. Well, I kind of know I should have made the call in between, but
Now,
if
if
I,
you make the call, does the guy behind
the
you?
guy can't overcall, and I win with sevens
Right.
on John's bluff. That just kind of takes it to that extent. 7-4 deuce here with a couple diamonds.
That's 16.
Mike's going to bet 60 here.
I mean, if you see a really, really good player overcalling, they usually have like the second nuts.
Yeah, it's got to be almost better than one pair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be a pretty strong hand, usually.
Heads up between Alan and Mike here. Well, Alan threw a little bluff bet out there, huh, with 5-10.
All right.
And now he is going to check, and now Mike's going to bet.
120.
He bets 120.
And Mike's got, I mean, Alan's got the best hand with 10 high. He also has the only diamond in his hand.
Check. You got diamonds? Hold on.
This would be one hell of a call for Alan with the 5 of diamonds. No.
Hey, what do you got? Nothing. 8 high? Can you beat 8 high?
And Mike shows the bluff, but Alan only had 10 high.
You said deal this. You put blind. Oh. Thank you for that. Nice shot.
Get a nice 2+2 post from Mark Summers talking about the Albany game. And, man, I was right with you, buddy. I actually, like I told you, I went to the Albany-UCLA game when they came out here about 4 months ago. And I was up Saturday morning, 9 in the morning, and I watched the game.
Against Vermont.
Yes, they killed. It was like 16-4. We were destroyed. It was not even close.
The America East Championship, what is on, like ESPN 3. It
You
was
know-
on ESPNU.
The only reason I was disappointed is that, I mean, Albany's actually a pretty good team, and I think if they were a 15 seed, they actually would have had some sort of a chance against. But against UConn, man, I don't know.
5-way action here. 8-9-5 on the flop. 7-10 over there for Allen. He's open-ended. And Mike is going to come out and bet here with Jack-7. He's got a gut shot to the 10. Ed is going to call with a gut shot to the Jack. And Allen's open-ended. We've got 3 people in the hand with straight draws. Jack-7, 7-10, and Queen-10. Here we go to the turn. Turns a 3. That does not help the straight draws. And Ed's in the lead with Queen-High here.
300.
And Mike leads for 300. And again, you know, Allen's open-ended. He might call again.
Please. Please don't. Please don't.
But once you get Ed to lay down, he doesn't mind. Jack high is good.
I had you beat.
He did.
And the river would have been a 10. And it would have given Mike the straight.
Yes, it would have. You're right.
10-7's open-ended, man. I can't believe you lost.
And Allen said I had a gut shot, but he was open-ended. That's why I was a little surprised to see Allen lay it down
Yeah.
on the
I can't believe
turn.
he mucked an open-ended straight draw.
And then you can hear Mike talking about
That
that.
is unbelievable.
Kind of a cool little post here from Mark Summers. Hey, so Mark, talk us up on the campus after the game. That is.
When he had got there, I wonder we should have checked that sucker.
I don't draw one card. When I have 2 cards to draw, then I draw.
Keep your mini monsters.
The card was not very good.
Keep the monsters coming.
Good old Albany. Man, I used to hang out there a lot. Great bar there. Called
you know,
WT's.
You know, I actually kind of misread this post from Kevin Mapp. It says that it was that the North Atlantic Conference turned from what was the ECAC before.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
5-way action here.
That's why I said my ECAC quote wasn't totally off base.
But there still is an ECAC in hockey, though, and
There
it's
is.
D3.
ECAC West and South and North. Sorry. Actually, I think there's a South, North, East, West.
George is going to come out and bet 160 here. There you go. George has ace-10. He's making a total bluff at it. And seat 5 is going to make the call. No, he's not going to make the call.
He doesn't really like to give George as much action. He likes to give Mike the action.
We have about 10 minutes left in the show.
You can catch us every Monday through Friday, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock,
Is
and
that
every
just the
night.
camera angle, or is that a big guy?
That's a big guy.
Yeah.
I don't think our cameras can make anybody look that big. You know, it's Oakland Raiders of the century. I think that's all of them, right there. Or at least 4 of them. And if you want to play in the 2006 Winning of the Green tournament, tomorrow afternoon, 4:15 p.m., we've got Hose. That's right. Hold'em, Omaha, high-low, 7-card stud, and stud 8 or better. Try your hand in all of them for $500 tomorrow at 4:15. And then Wednesday, once again, we go back with a no-limit hold'em.
Seat 5 is going to raise it up here to 160 with ace-8. Got an email here from David Moxness. He says, hope they're enjoying the ACC breakdown in the Philippines. I'm sure they are.
Live at the Bike, it's kind of a show for everybody.
One of us can raise.
One of us is going to raise about.
It's amazing how Gonzaga has transformed itself into a basketball power from where it was 10, 15 years ago. Remember when they used to be 15 seeds?
Yeah, you know what Gonzaga's like? Gonzaga's kind of like an indie film. Kind of like indie films are now. Indie films used to kind of be really like indie films, but now indie films are kind of like, they're like big productions. That's Gonzaga.
Oh, nice little
Segway?
segue there. Comparison. Well, look at this. Seat 5 limped in with pocket 10s, and Mike's going to raise with King Jack, and you wonder if Seat 5's going to pull the limp re-raise. He is, Dave, with pocket 10s. Raheem is going to pull the limp re-raise with pocket 10s, one off the cutoff.
And he is playing the player, not necessarily his hand.
And Mike's going to call him. How about a flop that's jack high? We talk about that being the toughest situation in No Limit Hold'em. And can Raheem really get away from this if it comes with a jack on the
And this
flop?
is a $600 pot already, folks.
Here we go. Well, Raheem's in the lead here.
Oh my God, what is my 6-3?
If he checks it, Mike might just check right behind him.
Yeah, is that what you think?
Can he check it, though? He's got 10s.
I mean, that's what you would have
He checked, and Mike checked right behind him. Oh, the turn's an ace. Let's see if Mike can
man.
represent now.
That's a scary card.
Remember, though, and it went check, check again, and the river's a deuce. Remember, though, he called George that time with 7s with the ace came on the turn earlier in the show. And now he comes out and bets. He bets 500 here. Wow.
Man. I mean, he gave Mike a whole free ride to get there.
Yep.
I hit a king or a jack, I'm good.
Thank you.
Oral Roberts plays against Memphis and
Memphis,
Dallas.
okay, I wasn't sure.
There we go.
Thank you.
But again, any team with John Calipari now, he's, college coach.
Yeah.
Gotta
I know you love him. I know you love him. Yeah, Gonzaga's a force, though. You were talking about them? That guy, Adam Morrison, he's an absolute machine.
I always think it's funny that you can have coaches that coach really, really good in college and not good in pros, like a Calipari or a Rick Pitino.
Right.
Calipari's kind of like a rev him up, like rah roo guy. That just doesn't work in pro basketball.
Right. I mean, I can't. I hate pro basketball. Pocket queens for
So do
George
I.
here.
George is going to raise here.
I guess it's one of the reasons we never talk about it.
He's going to raise it up to 150. Mike's going to call it the Jack 10 of clubs, and Raheem's got King 9 off suit. Out of position against a raise by George Georgian.
We got 3 players.
Wow. We've got about a $450 pot going 3 ways. George the pre-flop raiser. Wow, ace and the king. What a horrible flop for George.
Yeah, but you know what? If he bets this, and he does, I don't know if Raheem can call. I mean, Raheem's only got a king, and it's a weak king at that.
$300 bet here by George. Yeah, and Raheem, I don't think
Is that
he's gonna
really
get
the flop
involved.
you're looking for? You have king 9?
Well, that's why you're not really in there with King 9 offsuit in a raise pot. But he's going to call here, and this is and if George sees this to showdown, he's going to go crazy as well.
Now, George does have backdoor hearts.
Oh, the turn's a king, and Raheem, and it goes check, check, and the river's a 9, and Raheem fills up.
Wow.
And he's going to bet. And the funny thing here is, would you put him on an ace? Would somebody really bet an ace here?
Well, the problem is you might put him on hearts. You might put him on hearts, and now he's betting his missed draw.
It's an $800 pot. Like you said, would somebody bet an ace here? It would either be a king, a missed heart draw, or a bluff, right?
Pretty
Well,
much.
a missed heart draw or a king.
I mean, I think those are the two possibilities. I don't think he bets an ace. I think he's clearly either got a king or missed hearts.
Let's listen in here. Oh man, and George is going to go nuts. King 9.
Oh, runner. Wow. Nice.
And they say runner, but he had him on a flop, so makes a difference. Yeah, George is not a happy camper.
Yeah.
Someone moving over with my hand.
Oh man.
Well, I mean,
This has been an entertaining night so far here, Dave, tonight.
that's the problem with queens sometimes. We say it sometimes when there's a board, it has some sort of other draw on there.
Right.
It's hard to put your opponent on a hand there. Obviously,
Oh wow, look at George. I don't know if we can get a camera shot of him. Wow.
What do you do? Did you slam the table?
Slammed his chips over. Yeah, he is not pleased.
Is that still worth 100? I don't think so. He's held one card. What happened?
He just, we're getting word that he broke $100 chip. Wow. Wow. Wow, there it is. My goodness. I've never seen that before. Wow.
I'm going to raise him. It's all this.
There it is.
And look at Mo. What a nice guy. He comes over here, he puts his chips together. He even collects a little dust. Jesus. Does Mo do windows?
I called for him. What's your hand, too? You're that shit. No way.
Looks like Mike made a raise here.
Okay, we got 4 players.
Four-way action here.
You taking my white chips?
Mo made the call with ace-5 suited. And look at this. Ramsey and Mo both have spades here, Dave.
Oh, wow. This could get ugly.
Supposed to win if I get the hand.
This could get ugly, folks.
Big hand.
I called him with the same pair. I said $2,000. I gave it him. That was a nice.
And Ramsey's
try.
going to lead here. He's going to bet 250.
You're over here to
Now,
gamble.
oftentimes, if you're a really solid player, Dave, you might think Ramsey might be betting a 7 here. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
that possibility.
Yeah,
Mo
definitely.
calls.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons Mo does not raise.
I'm over here.
Here we go to the turn.
Money I'm gonna take it.
Turns an ace, and now
Wow.
Mo.
Mo
Let's
is
see what Ramsey
Ramsey's
does.
drawing dead, folks.
Yeah, but now if Ramsey checks, does Mo might check behind him?
I don't think
No,
so.
he's going to see where he's at. He's going to bet. He's going to bet 400. And Ramsey is going to put it all in here. Well, Ramsey's kind of short. Again, kind of what I brought you back there, Dave. Could somebody possibly be check raising here with 3-7?
Yeah, he could. I think he knew Ramsey didn't have much money, though.
Why did he do that?
It's one of the reasons when you're short stacked, it doesn't. Your opponents don't fear you, and they're talking about running the river 3 times. You can run it 30 times; it doesn't make a difference. Ramsey's drawing dead.
You know?
You are drawing dead, Ramsey.
Yeah, you're drawing dead.
No, he might have handed me, but never know.
He can't hit anything. He's drawing dead.
Can't win anyway.
No, I know.
Jesus.
Absolutely dead.
He can't hit anything.
And Mo's going to win that pot. And I was going to say, your point exactly. If Ramsey check raises big there in the turn, it really puts Mo in a tough spot. Because Ramsey's so tight, Ramsey definitely probably is showing like he's playing it like he has 7. But Ramsey just doesn't have enough money to really scare Mo.
Right.
When you buy in for $1,000, what is Mo scared of losing $600, $700? He's not going to get away from that hand for that much money.
500, 600.
We're going to do our final chip count of the night here, Dave. Well, let's take a look at these players here. That was right before this hand. Mo's actually got about 1,000 more, and Ramsey is broke. So as you can see, let's take a look at the differences. We'll add about 800 to 1,000 on Mo. Mo's up about 1,800 to 2,000. Look at George Georgian, the big loser there, Dave. Down almost
He's had a
45.
tough night.
And Raheem up 7,000 for the night.
He's had a phenomenal night, really a great night. Mike, look at the comeback by Mike, though, in 6-7. He's back to almost even there. Trish, wow, quietly he's lost $2,800.
And this is going to be the last hand of the night, folks. Of course, join us tomorrow for a similar game, probably 500 or 1,000 or something like that.
Stay in the kitchen.
And then, of course, Wednesday's our big game, 25-50 blinds, no limit hold'em. George with pocket 7s. And I got to tell you, these are the nights where when players are tilting like this, I kind of want to do this all night.
Why? Because you love to see pain.
You never know what's going to happen. They might flip the table over. Makes for good TV.
Lived around here 4 ways.
If I was young.
King, 10
King,
here.
100. Send it.
George has got
I got back just in
pair
time.
of 10s.
Yes, sweetie.
And Trish is the likes kings.
Yeah.
And George Wise the best hand here at Queen 10. And he's going to put a little feeler bit out there, see where he's at. And you imagine it's probably going to be folded around.
Look at seat 5 and seat 6 go at it. I don't even know if we want to continue on with the hand.
That's it.
Wow. There's a floor man right there. This one could get heated. George makes the check call here. We can't see what George has.
He has
Turns
7s.
the deuce. Oh, he's got 7s.
George has got 7s.
Check, and the river's a 9. 7s against Queen 10. Queen 10's going to take it down. And George and Raid there are really having some words in between.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Well, we've never seen a fist fight on Live at the Bike. Hey, look at this. UFC charges, what, $49.95 for a fight? We charge nothing. Look at this. It's a bargain. I tell you, we're giving this stuff away. Man.
Wow. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I think
that's gonna-
Did George call him a bitch?
He said, why still can handle a couple of...
And Peter's going to have George walk away from the table and take a little break. And on that note, we're going to end the night. That's going to do it for us tonight
Oh, it's
live at the
getting
Bite.
good. I don't want to go.
Thank you, Dave Tuckman, for joining
Aw,
us.
man.
As always, thanks to everybody
getting
here in the booth. Join us tomorrow night for another exciting live poker action. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bite.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.